What, Eric? That's tomorrow. Tomorrow. No. No.
What?
Zelda's tomorrow.
Oh. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Wave Podcast.
Yes.
We're here. Well, two of us are here.
The other ones are missing. They'll be back. They'll return.
We need to apologize for missing so many podcasts recently. Unfortunately, it does become one of the things that, hey, man, this week is really tight. What do we do? It's like, well, we could cancel podcasts. But I don't want to do that anymore, Aaron. We have so much to talk about, and it's been so long.
No, it has. We haven't had a podcast in, I don't know. We had Badonkagong, which has moved over towards Wave Squadron, where all of our Star Wars content is. It's also where I've been streaming Jedi Survivor. Eric will be here tomorrow, starting up with Tears of the Kingdom for Legend of Zelda. God. So make sure you guys are here for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then, now we're here to talk about, I mean, we have all kinds of stuff. We
have so much to talk about.
We haven't talked about London or Celebration or, I don't know.
Maybe what's going to be winning a poll.
Maybe.
Or won a poll.
And we've already watched some.
Hard to say.
Man, yeah. It's been a crazy time because we had to, get ahead for London, so we had to do a bunch of work to start. Or before that, and then we went to London, and then we had sickness, and then we had to catch back up with stuff. So it has felt like sprinting a marathon, sprinting for a while, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I think the last couple of weeks is the very first time, and I think I'm weirdly immune to this, but it's the very first time I actually felt actual burnout, where I was just like, I'm done. I don't want to do anything the rest of the day. It was like 2 p.m.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I hit my limit.
Understand.
We're live. We're here.
Yeah, but they were all staring at Holt behind you.
All right. The whole crew is here. I want to thank everybody for being here. And so many people are getting their subscriptions up to date.
Yes.
That was a fun podcast. See you guys. No.
Yep.
All right. Well, where should we start? Should we start with London?
Jolly old London.
Should we start there, or
should we start with the poll?
Start with the trip?
The trip in general?
The trip in general, getting there and.
We haven't even talked about us going and seeing the Normies.
No, that happened beforehand,
and that's been a long time.
Yeah, you can see that skit that we did.
Yeah, maybe you guys should talk about that a little bit.
On May 4th. Well,
they all blend together. I forget what the chronological order is. Normies, we went to that. That was fun. I think we talked about maybe a little bit of it.
A little bit, yeah.
But we had that skit came out recently. We also had our conversation that came out
on Wave Squadron,
which is really cool. That's over at Wave Squadron. If you haven't seen the conversation and you have watched Clone Wars, it's all about Clone Wars and Star Wars for a good bit of it too. We kind of just encompass Star Wars as a whole with them and stuff. And it was fun to be able to talk with another group about Star Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Normies, Star Wars. Yep. Got to go see some action figures and stuff too. That was fun.
Man.
Yeah.
That was my
I can't remember if we talked about that or not.
In months and months and months.
Really?
I filled up that gigantic box they gave us.
You did. We even stopped by a card shop too, and I got to look around, and I found you found a lot of really cool action figures. They weren't even all Star Wars.
No, I got some Dragon Ball Z stuff. I got some Lord of the Rings stuff. Anything that, I don't know. I just have like a feeling, especially if it's something that was on the shelf or on the rack when I was young, but didn't have the means to get it. I.e., I used to get like, $20 working on the farm a week, right?
Sure.
That was my child labor salary.
It's called an allowance.
Yes, it was my allowance. And that always included at least one Dragon Ball Z VHS tape that had 3 episodes of the original show.
Yeah.
That was coming out like every time. Like, I could get 10 of them. But no, you can get one and then one action figure, So I would do that. Not every week. I would I might get the Dragon Ball Z thing this week, or I might get an action figure this week. But for me, and especially back then, there was just so much stuff on the rack compared to what it is now. Like I was like, no, I want one of everything, but I couldn't do it.
Sure.
So now, as an adult, when I see that era, especially like Dragon Ball Z and and Lord of the Rings that were actually kind of hard to find, and at least in our area it was. I'm like, nope, gotta have that. I got a satisfied child Eric.
Child Eric.
Yep.
All those years of being deprived.
I know.
All the toys that you ever wanted.
And he has satisfied me by not opening anything. So I'm not missing anything.
So you got to get a lot of that cool stuff.
Yeah.
We also stopped by a card shop, which I was just like curious what kind of Pokemon cards would be around and stuff. And we stopped by one place, and they had various things. But then the thing that they found that I was most interested in was they had the base 2 decks that were released back when we were kids. Like they were pre-made decks.
Yeah.
And they had all 4 of the base 2 decks as a set that they were selling together. And I debated heavily on that for a while.
It was quite heavy.
I called Melanie, like, Melanie, what do you think? Should I get these?
You called Melanie, and then Jancy, like, because you were also messaging, like, in our app that we use, and then Jancy called me. He's like, "You're at a Pokemon store and didn't tell me." I was like, "I'm sorry, babe. I didn't know we'd be here this long."
I thought it was just gonna be in and out.
So, but I did end up getting those. They were sealed. It was really cool. It's hard to find sealed stuff from the,
sealed anything.
Yeah. From that long ago. It's back in the later 90s, So it's really cool to get that.
It was.
And it was a fun trip. It was me and Eric and Jake.
Yeah, Jake was there too. Jake, he got the bug a little bit. Like, you were going to get that Godzilla figure, and like, I'm not going to get it. And then I think you ended up just getting it some other place, didn't you? You got a different one.
Different Godzilla.
You were infected.
Yeah. So that was fun. That was a pre-trip before our big trip.
Yeah.
Which was interesting and pretty fun. I feel like I worked more than I got to be able to like journey London. So I don't feel like I got to see a lot of London.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a learning experience in that, I'm going to need... Because what I was planning on doing is like, we'll go to Celebration, and then I'll be able to do London stuff after. But Celebration just took everything from me. That I had like a day where I was like, I'll go look at some stuff, and I was just so tired. I was like, it'll be here next time I come.
Yeah.
Time.
It was very exhausting.
Quite exhausting. But I mean, it was a fantastic... For me, like, the experience was amazing because not only did we get to go to Celebration, but we also scored Jedi Master tickets, which meant that we could just go to pretty much any panel we wanted to. And when given that option, I was like, well, surely I will go to all of them.
And we certainly attempted to.
We attempted to. I think there was like 2 major panels I missed.
Yeah.
But that was just because I was so tired at that point.
Yeah.
But that was as a lifelong Star Wars fan, that was amazing.
No,
I should say too, I don't really like the way the lottery system is for a lot of people. Like, some people could go all the way to Celebration, enter into the lottery system, and not be able to go to a single major panel.
Yeah.
I think that's rough.
Yeah.
Same thing. Why I think they should
who got like 6.
Yeah, I know. And I also believe that they should be streaming most of the event as well.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there. Like, I had a great time, but I don't want people to think like, oh yeah, you had a great time. I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, I know that they streamed them to like other rooms, but not always on like online where you get to see what's going on, what's being announced and stuff. So I understand they want to have some exclusive stuff to the people that are there.
Yeah.
They want to reward the people who paid tickets.
But I also I didn't like previously. I didn't like how people had to like stand in line for 24 hours to get into this stuff too, and then might not like we stayed overnight. That first Celebration, Orlando, right?
Yeah, in Orlando.
We stayed overnight on concrete floors
slept on
and
the floor.
Still didn't get into the main room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I will say there's incredible memories from that night.
Yeah.
For me.
We made good friends there.
Yeah, but that tends to happen when you're suffering.
Yeah. I think it's called
mutual
trauma.
So I think at least the lottery system allows it so that you don't have to stand in line for nothing. But some people still do. There is overflow room.
Yeah, there's the overflow for a lot of it too. So that was one of the things that was that kept us so busy. I think was everything was so back to back. There wasn't a lot of room, especially if you were wanting to try to get into the other panels. Even especially if you were trying to get in the overflow of it.
Yeah.
Like it was one, they let them out, they start making room for the next group to come in. And it was just so quick. So like even to go to try to get food, to go to the bathroom, lots of times there wasn't a lot of room in between or anything.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even get to go to the floor until like the very end of the first day. And that's usually like the place I'm at the most.
Yes.
But with that, like I did get to also get some autographs and stuff too. It was fun to do that. I was trying to get him on the Mandalorian poster. I did meet Carl Weathers and told him that I had just seen Rocky for the first time, like the week before. And
what did he say?
He looked at me and was like, "For the first time?"
Was it a look of disappointment?
I mean, I felt like, yeah, maybe like, what's wrong with you, or how old am I, or I don't know exactly. Like,
what rock you been living under? How's it feel, Aaron?
So it was like, man, for the first time. I'm like, yeah. So that was yeah.
That's cool.
That's so funny.
I also got Giancarlo to sign it as well, and the fun thing with him was like two people in front of me. There was like a guy with a kid, and he was signing like a pop or whatever it was for the guy, and he looked at the kid and he was like, "How are you doing? Hang on 1 second." And he walked away, and he came back and he tossed the kid a candy bar, like a sealed candy bar, and then had like this picture of like Grogu like squeezing like a, I don't know if it was an Azellan or a frog or what it was.
Sure.
And he signed that too and gave it to the kid. And I was like, oh man, that was so nice.
That's cool.
And then the next people that were in front of me and behind them, they had a pop and he was signing it. And I know what they had done is like, you tell them what you want to say, and like if it's to anybody, you know, that kind of thing. And they put like a post-it note on it, and then he's like, okay, here's the name, you know, how you spell the name so you don't misspell it. And here's what they want me to say. And he started to sign this, and the kid was like, I say kid, he was younger than me, but he wasn't like a 15-year-old or anything. He was like, can you also add in, and he said something, and Giancarlo like was writing, and so slowly looked up at him, didn't say a word, stared at him for a second. They nervously laughed, to which he slowly just looked back down and then finished writing.
He's so good at that.
It was such an intimidating look. Like a lot of the other people that I had seen and whatever and was doing autographs with, like I was like, oh yeah, I met Simon, who was Axe Woves from Mandalorian.
Simon
he was so cool. We talked for like a minute. He was telling me about like how he's looking into stuff on YouTube for like cameras and stuff like that too.
That's cool.
And like, and I was like, oh well, you know, if you like YouTube and stuff, like here's our Wave Squadron sticker, and we, you know, do this and that. He's, oh, I'll check that out. I'm like, cool, man, thanks. Giancarlo, like, after the last guys, I'm like, I'm not doing shit. He's too intimidating. I'm leaving him be.
You know why I'm so happy for Simon? And I don't know if you know about this one, Aaron. He apparently filmed a death scene for season 2 of Mandalorian. They were going to kill him, and they filmed it, and they ended up cutting it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad they did.
And me too, because, but like, imagine, like, going through that as an actor, like, emotionally dealing with the death of your character, and then they bring you in and they make you like, oh crap, like he had like some significant stuff in that season.
That's what happened to Hank in Breaking Bad with the writer's strike.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. Hank was gonna die in season 1. So yeah, there's something cool about that. But like, as opposed to the writer's strike where Hank never had to like go through that, like Simon had to actually film and be like, all right, say goodbye to Axe Wolves, you know, and the fans are probably gonna be disappointed that they don't get to see, you know, I'm disappointed they don't get to see me, but then they literally they cut it.
They brought him back from the dead.
Come back for season 3. We'll give you a couple amazing fights.
Sure, yeah, some great stuff there. So, yeah, I didn't know that. I never heard that before.
That's really cool. Yeah, speaking of autographs, I did a bunch of that. Expanding my, I think I've showed it a couple times on the channel in the previous vlog as well, but I had a poster that I've been getting a bunch of signatures on. So the continuation of that, there were many. I cannot remember them all off the top of my head, but I did get Carl Weathers, I got Giancarlo, I got Matt Lanter finally. I wasn't able to get him the other 2 times because either he was sold out or scheduling, they like canceled a slot on him and moved him around to where I couldn't get over there to him.
The Clone Wars trio goes to a lot of conventions too, so you should see them at some point. But I always see James Arnold Taylor, Ashley Eckstein, and Matt Lanter. Like they were just in Indiana something recently too. Yeah. So
and D. Bradley Baker gets around a lot too for all of his characters. He goes to anime cons and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. I got to meet one of my personal heroes, Andy Serkis, and I actually got to do an impression of one of the characters that he has voiced, Gollum, into his face, and he complimented me on how good it was. So that was a very nerve-wracking.
Wait, how did you manage? Did you just go up and you was like, Gollum?
No,
Like, what happened?
I was talking to him, and I was like thanking him for like all of his work and everything, like the incredible amount of pain and everything that he put his
voice through. They
body,
had to develop
his entire
Gollum
body
juice
through,
for him.
especially his
Oh yeah, you're right.
voice in.
Well, when he was Caesar, whatever, they had like those weird things they had to like run on and stuff too, right? Like that
the
probably
forearm brace thing.
that probably wasn't
It's,
very comfortable and it's weird too.
It's funny to watch like the Lord of the Rings appendices, and like when they start filming with Andy, he's in this like spandex white suit, trying to make him as small as possible, but he's just giving it all, especially on scenes that they know he's not going to be in. But he's like tearing himself on rocks and crawling around.
He's
that by the
dragging
time
his
they
stomach across sharp rocks.
by the time they finish the recordings for those 3 movies, he has like a baseball like vest and like knee pads and elbow pads because he just keeps destroying himself.
Yeah.
He keeps getting blood on the set.
Yeah.
So you were telling him like, thank you for doing all the terrible things you have to do the cool stuff you do.
Yeah, and I said like, Gollum was one of the characters that like inspired me to like start doing impressions. And Carmen was standing there and she said, "Yeah, he does a really good impression. You should hear it."
Oh,
and
thank
she
you,
looked at
Carmen.
me,
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh shit, I wasn't prepared for this."
Yeah.
Calvin, every time like if we look at you like, hey, do that in a cage.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I know.
So imagine how bad
Calvin,
it
you're like
was
one of the best
to do it to
impressionists
Andy
I've ever
Serkis.
met. That's great. I'm so
But,
happy she did that.
Yeah. No, I was happy that she did as well.
Yeah.
It was definitely a high point of my life.
Yeah.
well, you were like,
Oh, man.
damn it. Oh, that's pretty good,
That's a high point for meeting Andy. That's a high point in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, he never would have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Everybody's saying do the impression.
I can't now.
See? You did it for Andy.
Where's
I
Carmen?
did. He's
I see.
special. You're not Andy.
What if I lead you in? If I
With-
lead you in with a line, would you do it?
You might not have a choice.
Like if I go, Sméagol promised. Do you remember what the line is?
I don't.
It's just I lied.
Sméagol lied.
Sméagol lied.
He's like, oh, Sméagol lied. But Sméagol promised. Yeah. I went a little bit Midoriya with my Frodo right there. So.
Yeah.
It's your work, nice.
Yeah.
Great. Aaron, you didn't do any impressions in front of your autograph?
No, I wasn't gonna.
Mando. You didn't
No,
do that?
yeah, I wasn't gonna walk him, but Mando. No, I wasn't gonna do
Aw.
that. No. I usually, I had to talk. It's a quote somewhere in Twitch where it's like I do in the shower. People just come in and laugh at me. Like Melanie walks in and laugh at me.
Yeah.
They took it out of context, but it was talking about me. Like, and I sometimes would try to do impressions in the shower, and Melanie walk in and be like, "What are you doing?" And she'd laugh at me. But they just took it out of context. Like I do in the shower, and Melanie laughs at me. It's a quote somewhere on Twitch.
You told that to Carl
yeah.
Weathers?
No, I didn't tell it to Carl Weathers.
Aaron, what would you say your best impression is? 'Cause I know
I mean,
what
the
your
one
best
I've done the most is probably Donald Duck,
Donald Duck, it's pretty good.
which is
yeah.
probably
yeah.
the
That
best
one's
one, I
good.
suppose.
You want to hear an
I feel
undercut
like I've
one that
heard
you do real well?
Christopher Walken a lot as
Yeah,
well.
but I don't think it's good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
I
the
think
one
it's
that he
just-
nails every time, and no one will get this. At the end of every CW show, there's a credit for Greg Berlanti's like studio, and it's this like I guess it's meant to be like Greg Berlanti as a kid watching television, and his dad says something.
Yeah.
But what's he
They
say?
always go, Greg, move your head.
Greg, move your head. He does it
they-
every time.
they always do it.
And
I don't
every
know
time
why.
I'm always going like, man, he nails that one.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do it. They always do it.
That's just for us too, because
It's-
like by
it's like-
nature, that's the thing that never gets included
Yeah.
in our videos. Because that's when I get up and go turn the camera off.
And then while you're turning it off, I go, Greg, move your head. But it's kind of like the what is it? Bad robot,
Yeah.
or like the zombie. Arr, arr.
Yeah.
Like there's-
Arg,
Yeah.
Donald
arg.
Duck.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's all
Annie
those things
Plex.
that are always kind of
That
yeah.
was in the
Except
beginning.
that's in the
I know,
beginning.
but
That's always
it still has
included.
that feeling, you know?
So it's kind of like one of those things. But yeah, I don't know why. It's just always stuck in my head when we get to the
Fremulon.
end of those.
Yeah, the Fremulon one.
Man, we
as
do
well.
that so
Kind of
much.
like the Fremulon, not a doctor, is always like we always do that too. Fremulon, not a doctor. But the other thing that was really cool, that was probably one of my favorite things, was, I mean, it's cool, but sometimes too, like I need to get to the bathroom. But like we met a lot of fans.
We met so many people.
Oh my gosh.
And I would always try to talk and get pictures with whoever and stuff too, because like it's not usually that we're somewhere that we can meet anybody.
Yep.
And,
we met more fans at this Star Wars celebration
Yeah.
than I think we've met at both of the previous celebrations and at all WaveCons combined.
It was nuts. Like, the first celebration we went to was in Orlando, and we got recognized a fair amount. I remember being like, this is crazy,
Yeah,
you know?
right?
Yeah.
And then Chicago, I think we were recognized more, but it wasn't, like, so overwhelmingly more that I was like, okay, this is similar to the last time. So that's probably what it's going to be like in London. And that was not the case. It increased by a factor of, like, 25 easy.
Yeah.
Melanie was surprised because people would be like, oh, Melanie. And she'd be like, oh, you want me to take the picture? And be like, no, I want you in the picture.
Yeah. That was
like,
really good.
I watch Doctor Who. You know?
I like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like she was surprised by that too. But it was really cool to meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones was it was on the last day, and my goal was they had what they called the bounty hunt, where they had various I don't know, like these cardboard stand areas or whatever that had little QR codes, and you had to go and find all of these QR codes and you scan them, and then it was like this weird puzzle question thing you had to solve and pick like answer. Like one was like a math problem, but it was done with like how many seats in the Senate are there, you know, times how many arms Grievous has, you know, divided by the number of council members on the Jedi Council. You know, like it was something like that. And I was going up to one, and some guy was coming the other way, and I almost ran into him, or I was going to cut in front of him, and we were going to hit. So I stopped and backed up, and for whatever reason went, sorry, mate.
I don't know why you did it.
As
You did-
one
you
does
did-
when
you
they're
did that
around
to a
that for
random
week.
stranger.
When you're in London for a while, I guess you
Start
just
getting
start saying
naturalized.
mate,
You're just trying
you
to trick him, thinking like, oh, that's not an American. That's a
I
countryman.
guess.
He's trying to blend in.
To which he like looked at me, and then he stopped and stared at me for a second.
Yeah.
And like
He stared at you like
he
it was.
pointed at me.
Yeah, he
and
pointed
then-
right at your face.
And then I pointed at him, and then Calvin walked up, and he looked over at Calvin, and Calvin pointed at him, and then he pointed at Calvin, and then you walked up, I think, and then you started pointing. We were all pointing at each other like the Spider-Man and like meme.
The Spider-Man meme.
And he goes, "I know you guys." It was
that
just
one
so
was
funny.
nuts. Yeah.
We talked to him for a little bit. There was another one where we were filming the vlog. That was around. It was a little before this.
This is the best one.
Where we were filming a vlog, and once it comes out, it'd be really cool. You'll see a probe droid. That's in the moment when it happens. But Melanie was filming it for us.
We have Cobb working on the vlog. He's hoping to have that out in the next couple weeks, and we actually met Cobb.
Yeah, met
At
Cobb.
Celebration.
I got to meet Cobb and Nexus.
Yeah.
Sadly, I didn't get to see Katie
Dora.
again.
I
met
I
Dora.
saw
I got
Katie.
to see Katie briefly.
I saw Katie.
I didn't get to see her.
Yeah, but it was really cool to put
Sorry
a
we
lot of
couldn't hang out more,
faces
Katie.
to the names that we know so well.
Yeah.
But we were doing that, and for the shot, Melanie started backing up, and when she did, she ran into this guy who was in a wheelchair and like almost fell into his lap.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh no.
We were like, oh, I'm so
Like,
sorry.
we went over like, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Can I get a picture?
Can I get a picture with you guys?
And we're like, what? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We just ran into you. Let us take a picture.
That
Sorry.
opportunity literally fell on his lap.
It did, yeah. So that was funny too. But those are two of the ones that I kind of stand out as like just not just walking through the hall and someone going, hey, blind wave. They were just a little bit more to that.
Yeah,
but,
and there was a lot of really nice people too, because there would be times where like if I was by myself and went to the bathroom or something, like I would use the bathroom and I'd get the feeling of like the guy next to me feels like he's looking at me. But I don't know if he is. So I'd walk out and then he came up to me later, he's like, hey, I didn't want to be a weirdo. Being like, hey, what's up, dude? You know,
you just go up to the urinal smiling at you like, hey.
And I'm like, I appreciate that so much.
Like not having an awkward conversation,
Yeah, that was really funny.
trying to shake your hand.
And then we ended up getting a meet and greet to happen, which is always tricky trying to figure out where to have these because I'm not familiar with the area or where to be.
Especially in another country.
And then weather-wise was crazy. It rained all the time.
For like 5 minutes at a
Well,
time.
the first 3 days tricked us.
Yeah.
I feel like the first 2 or 3 days it was like sunny, warm, and then the London weather hit.
Yeah,
like
we
in
were
a
told
breeze
with
like
a fury.
we were lucky that we came that week because it's the best weather that London had had for like months.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember getting there, being like the breeze would come by. I'm like, man, this feels so good. But that breeze later in the week was chilling,
It
Yeah.
was
especially for me and Aaron and Melanie.
Guess. I'm like, I don't know where we're going. Well, we can get to that one, I guess,
We'll
later.
get there later. Yeah.
Which also we didn't tell. There's some stories that I just haven't said anything about too, and I'm sure I've forgotten some. There was one thing, and we're like, we're not telling anyone this till we do the podcast.
Yep.
And on the first day being there, the conventions hadn't started or anything yet.
Yeah, but the hall was open.
Yeah. Myself, Eric, and Melanie had went over to the hall, and we were able to just walk on in. So we just walked down the hall just to get a feel of like what the convention center was like. And we walked like all the way down. We're looking at stuff. There's some people like I think getting like security vests and getting ready like
they were doing some training.
Yeah, getting prepared to be like the security people or at least the pointing people to be like go there, go there.
Sure, like the people at the beginning and end of lines that usher.
Yeah, who still didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, every year it's bad.
So there was definitely a few times where I'm like, I have this badge. Does it get me anywhere? Like, I don't know. I'm like, what? All right, but we went through, we walked through, we got around towards the end. Yeah. And there was another door and we went out that door and there's like a little balcony area and stuff and we were looking around.
It was really a relaxing time too because I was just tired of traveling, being on a plane, being in a car, you know. Yeah. It's like, this is nice just to kind of have a walk. Yeah. Just everything was really breezy.
It was nice. It was just chill. The weather wasn't very bad then. It was still pretty good. And we were just kind of looking everywhere. And I was like looking, I'm like, oh, here's the rail system that's right here. And I'm like looking over the balcony off the rail down at everything. And I'm like, this is really cool. And we were just sitting there talking. And then I pulled away to leave. And I was like, what's on my hands? Yep. And I looked. And like, I didn't look at the rail. It had been bird pooped.
He had so much bird poop all over his hands.
It was all over.
And I was like, I was shocked. I couldn't believe the amount. And I know when I walked up, I'm like, there's a lot of bird poop there. I'm not going to touch that.
We should have said something.
Yeah, I know, but Aaron just watched like, wow. Look at the train.
I was looking at the sights. I was like, look at all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, cool.
And he was just like, oh my God. What do I do?
I didn't have napkins or anything.
Yeah, I looked at like a trash can. I'm like, maybe there's something in there that can help you.
I'm like, I don't want to dig through that.
Go dig into the trash.
I didn't dig through the trash, but I used the lid to scrape the poop off.
You did.
And I'm like, all right, now I'm just walking around like this. And like, we went back inside. And maybe there's a bathroom inside.
Yeah.
You can't grab any
We couldn't
door
find
handles.
a bathroom.
No, I'm just walking around.
You can't open your bag.
The first bathroom we found was locked or blocked off or closed or something.
I ended up finding another one that looked like it was locked too, but I was like, let's just try it. And it opened. I'm like, dude, get in there real quick.
It was either like a kids or handicap bath. Like it was shaped weird, and I wasn't used to what it was, but I was able to wash my hands in that.
But it was probably 30 minutes having been in the country. You put your
I'm like, this country shit? No. So yeah, it was, man.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. I'm like, oh man, I can't believe this has happened.
Yeah, I remember being like, I'm so glad I came on this walk with you guys.
People were like, no, Aaron, I shook your hand.
No, that was the day before I washed them, showered later. Before. It was They were clean by then, so it's okay.
Can you imagine if someone came up to you and was like, by the way, oh my God. They took a picture.
And you're just holding your hands, your shitty hands.
My shit hands.
Talk
so
about
much.
hover hand.
Yeah. But
I even said, like, Aaron, it's things like this that you feel better because you have a podcast and you're able to tell the story.
I suppose,
trying to cheer him up.
Yeah. There's definitely been times where I've had, like, just shitty time, and you're like, you know what? This isn't that bad. I have people to tell us about.
I can tell this to somebody.
I have a story to tell.
Yep.
But yeah, we worked on getting a meet and greet set up. We tried to find a location in case it was raining. It wasn't raining, so then I was trying to direct people from like the general location because it was all busy area and everything too. Yep. Trying to get people navigated. So I went and found a group. I think Calvin was there too.
Yeah.
And I told them like, go down over here. We're going to be meeting over here by this like statue thing. So go that way. So I started just directing everyone that way. And I waited a little bit. Then Melanie came over there, and she's like, well, I'll wait here. You go on over there, and if anyone comes, I'll direct them that way. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I got over there and I found Eric at the top of the steps, and he was talking with a group of people.
Yeah, the natural shape of the circle, which is my worst enemy because I can't be on the right side of it. So I end up like, kind of like spinning in place, talking to people.
Yeah,
but yeah. I was talking to 12 Cat, I believe.
Sure.
And we talked for a while, and then people would come up, like form a ring, and I was like, I don't think this is the meetup, but I don't know where it is. And then you found me. Like, Eric, get over this way.
Eric, we're going down by the statue. Yeah. I already found Calvin. He should be down that way already anyway. Uh-huh. And we walk down the statue, and I see off past the statue, there's like another group over there. Yeah. Like, okay, well, at least they're over there. We won't bother them. Mm-hmm. And I came down. I'm like, I don't know where Calvin is. I swear I sent him here. He should be here somewhere.
Yeah.
and we started talking with people and stuff. And then that group that was over there that I didn't want to bother started moving towards us.
Yeah.
And in front of it was Calvin.
Yeah.
And they were part of the group that I sent, and they had found him. And our two groups merged, and I felt like there were so many people.
Yeah.
So many more than I was expecting to be there. I think it was bigger than our last WaveCon
It was nuts.
Yeah, there had to have been 100 people there.
Like, it was crazy. And it was like...
Easy over 100.
Yeah.
Do we have the picture?
We might be able to find the picture.
It's on my Instagram at the
Pull it
very
up.
least. I'm sure it's on Blind
But
Move.
I think I
it's
counted
on
the
Blind Move
picture,
as
and
well.
it might not have had everyone in the picture. We tried to get pictures with everybody, and try to get through people that had to leave right away
because it was the end.
People trying to
On
find
a train schedule, trying to get home.
planes.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to hold up anybody, but I wanted to try to give everyone, a second, at least for being there and everything too.
Yeah.
So,
We
but
could,
yeah, I think I counted in the picture itself like 107 or so.
Wow.
So I was like, man, how many people were here?
we could
There
find
it
that
is.
final day of WaveCon picture we could compare. But I don't know where that one is.
Right, sure, I get you. No,
like-
it's definitely more. Man.
But it was really cool.
Yeah, and we were just kind of like, look, we'll have an opportunity to meet some people. That's going to be... We didn't have any, plans for that that meetup or anything, but I just
we did.
Well,
And you told me a place, and I miraculously found this place all on my own, and then nobody was there
Yeah, sure, I get you.
because the place had changed.
Yeah, that we had to
the
change.
place we had chosen turned out to be the main exit for the convention
Sure.
center, and they were shuffling everybody through a 20-foot wide walkway. Probably more like 30, but there were literally thousands of people walking this walkway, so we couldn't get a group together to block it.
Sure. But we ended up being able to talk with the one of the event coordinators there. Melanie talked with them. I appreciated that.
Yeah, at the Excel
And
Center.
He was like, no, as long as you're over here, don't worry, we'll let people in, because we wanted people that didn't have badges, because a lot of people came
Yeah.
that weren't coming for Star Wars. They just were in the area and came for us. So we wanted everyone to be able to get in there that could. So, but it was really cool. I got to talk with a lot of people. I think I hung out there for like 2 hours or something.
It was a good while.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was getting dark.
I was
by the time we left.
Like, it was chill, but I like to be chilly a little bit. But once it rained, I was like, oh my god, I am so cold.
Rained.
Once it rained.
It hailed.
Eric, you missed the bad part.
Yeah.
Like, that canopy thing did no good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to be standing 100 feet away for it to actually block any rain for you.
It
'Cause
was.
It
It got
was
so
sideways.
windy. I think you guys all said you missed it, but at one point, a sign lifted off the ground and flew into like a one of the fencing they had blocking everything, and just wedged itself in there. And I was like, "Geez!"
I watched the whole fence get blown over.
Like dominoes.
yeah, like dominoes, because they're all linked together.
They went.
Oh,
So that was
man.
And then
crazy.
there was a giant rainbow right after. It was
a
nuts.
double rainbow, I believe.
It was a double rainbow.
So, but no, it was great meeting everybody. We got pictures with, I think, almost everybody. Some people had like gifts and stuff like that too, that they
Yeah.
were like, here's art. You remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is
man,
cool.
I can't remember the name. Who was the person that we met? Like, the first day we were walking into the convention. Like, we were in that big line to get there. And someone in front of us, like, just turned around and like, oh my God, it's you guys. I was looking for you. I got art for you, like full page art. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it
oh
was
my
an
God, thank
Ahsoka
you.
and a Rex, I believe,
Yeah.
right? But yeah,
Yeah.
we were like,
That's cool.
It was me and Eric right behind them in line.
Yeah. And she
And
just
they-
kind of turned around and looked at us like, and I thought, oh my God, what'd I do? Did I do something wrong? But no, she just recognized us. It was nuts.
Yeah, that's our last WaveCon we had.
Oh yeah, there was way more people.
There's way more people.
I know we
a lot
had
of good
more people
faces
in and
there.
out of this WaveCon too, so like more give or take, but yeah, we had a lot more people, I think, overall at the one. So
But
we really appreciate it. It was almost overwhelming. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what do we do now?
There was no side to the crowd that you could stand on and have everyone in front of you. It
Yeah.
was just. It
see,
was
like when you're moving and
lot.
someone recognize you, they might more than likely be like, "Oh, I'm not going to stop them or anything." But when you're still and someone, then like the crowd starts to form.
yeah.
And I think there was one point when we were like on the far end.
yeah.
I don't remember what panel it was, but like we stood in that same spot for like it felt like 40 minutes.
There was a good good chunk of time there where people like just in series kept coming up and like they would like form a queue.
Yeah.
Like without saying a word to us or anybody else, they just queued. which is something that Americans have trouble with. And I respect a great deal.
Yeah,
it's true.
At one point,
it was really cool.
I don't remember. I don't know if I've seen it online or not, but someone came up and it was when Aaron and I were desperately trying to get something to eat because we just hadn't eaten the entire day. It was that first day, wasn't it?
Yep.
Because I was so hungry.
We got those crappy Hot Pocket things.
Yeah, and like someone asked for a picture, and I took a picture like
like holding the Hot Pockets.
Holding the Hot Pocket up. But yeah, after that day, every other morning I ate as much at breakfast that I possibly could.
Sure. Yeah.
I stuffed myself because I knew I wasn't able to eat the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And breakfast was good. I liked it. I also, I took a picture with my Hot Pocket, but I also had a bunch of pictures with a obscene gesture in the country that I was in, apparently. Most people, like, that after I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. If you need another picture, try to come find me or something, you know. Most people are really cool about it, but I kept doing this. And now that I'm in America, this isn't offensive. I kept doing this in pictures. Apparently, this is okay. But this is like giving somebody the finger or a very rude gesture in some parts of the country. So I was like, oh, man, all right, I got to stop doing that.
I didn't.
And then one time after that, someone would come up and requested that I do it.
Well, I met a wave rider. Their name, I believe, was Daisy. And when we were getting a picture, they were like, I already got a picture with Eric. You can do the one thing. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, I'll just.
Yep.
I just did it. And I was like, you can post that, tag Eric, let him know I did it.
Yeah. So. There was one time where you guys were standing in one of the convention halls around the shops in the autograph area, and I was looking for you, and I finally found you guys, and there was a small crowd of people around you. You guys were taking pictures and stuff. And I had just gotten there when you guys were like starting to take a picture, so I like got right up behind you so I could be in the picture. And then like someone over there was like, I'm sorry, I know you guys are headed somewhere, but can I get a picture?
Yeah.
And then like someone behind them was like, yeah, me too. And you, Eric, took a picture with the first person.
Okay.
And you did the hand signal.
Oh, yeah.
And the second person was like, oh, I guess he didn't want to take another picture because he read that as flipping off the camera.
Oh, yeah, take this picture. How about this?
But you.
Want a picture? I never know what to do with my hands in pictures.
It's always an awkward choice.
Sure. Sometimes I point at people. Sometimes I give a thumbs up.
Well, I like to put like my arm around people too, but sometimes I'm trying to like gauge if that's an appropriate thing for that person. Some people you can tell aren't comfortable with that type of thing, so I try to be sensitive to it. So I'll throw up, this.
Gang signs.
So instead of being inclusive and trying to, be like, hey, I care about your comfortableness, I go, fuck you. Instead, I feel so bad.
That was it was fun. I enjoyed meeting a lot of wave riders, and hopefully we'll get to go to more stuff and meet more wave riders. I really enjoyed a lot of that. I talked with a lot of people. I know I'll remember some names. I'll forget a lot of other names too.
Yep.
But
yeah,
I also met a few people that like didn't know us, and now they do.
Yeah.
There was one time, there was one guy that I ran into, and I told Eric about this, but he had looked at me, and he was like, and I think you had been behind me, but you might have been talking to someone else. He goes, wait a minute. I know you guys. I just saw you guys on YouTube. You did that Order 66 Easter egg from Jedi Fallen Order. And I'm like, yeah, we had a video like that. We just did that. We like, you don't know anything else we do? You just saw that? He's like, yeah, I just seen that video the other day. And I'm like,
I was surprised they recognized
it. Yeah, they recognized us from that video there, and that's all they knew us from.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, here's our sticker, like, we do a lot of Star Wars stuff now, so make sure you check it out.
Yeah. I hope everybody that got a sticker from us enjoys them. Those are exclusive. Like, you only get those from there.
Sure.
And
well, especially
Jancy designed most of those, or all of them, I should say. And they were really, especially the Wave Squadron sticker. That thing was so slick.
Yeah.
I was selfishly wanting to keep like 10 so I could just put around like on my laptop and my bag and stuff. I was like, no, I ended up giving them all away.
I gave out various ones on the first day, and then after that, I'm like, man, I went through a lot more stickers than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And then I started being a little bit more conscious of like, let me maybe only give one if I can, because I didn't want to run out for people in the future and stuff. And then at the meet and greet, I was wanting to hand them out, and things just got so crazy.
I had like 5 by the time we got there,
and I didn't get to give out all the ones I wanted to there. So I'm sorry for people at the meet and greet that didn't get one, but it was on my list, and things got crazy. We went through a lot of the pictures. I should have been like handing them each time we got a picture, but I didn't.
Yeah, some people even got the very exclusive, because we didn't have many, the very exclusive Badonkagong sticker.
Sure, yeah.
Which was a really cool sticker.
And then we had a few of the Blind Wave like London stickers, which they specifically just said London 2023. So
yeah.
So there was a few exclusive ones we had.
Quite a few people who had been doing Roll with the Punches, they got those stickers as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, those ones are really cool too.
I didn't give out as many Pokemality stickers.
Sure.
What about the next week?
Not as many then either.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, we can get to that later on at some point. But and one of the things I did, I was playing against a guy, and I beat him. And then while we were sitting there waiting, we were just kind of talking. And I was like, oh, starting a YouTube channel that we're kind of building up for Pokemon. And I was like, oh, here, if you want, I'll give you the sticker. He's like, you beat me, and now you're showing me your YouTube channel? I was like, I guess. Sorry.
It's your punishment. Now you have to listen to me tell you.
There, my mark.
Melanie said, you should have said, like, well, you can watch it and learn how to beat me.
Oh, dick move.
So I'm like, I didn't say that. But no, it was fun, and I'm glad we had something to pass out too, because lots of times we meet people at like some of these things and we don't have that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah, and we had a limited amount of that stuff, so like it would depend. Like if someone came up to me and was like, "Oh my god, I love your Doctor Who reactions," I'm like, "All right, you're getting a Blind Wave sticker." If they brought up Star Wars, I'm like, "You're getting a Wave Squadron sticker."
Sure, yeah. The what else was there? I was gonna say, if we're done with Star Wars, then I have like what happened in between with some of the stuff, but
oh sure,
like
okay.
time we had afterwards.
No, it was a great trip. I had a lot of fun. For me, a crazy moment was when we were in the Ahsoka panel, and the energy in the room was already like buzzing. But I felt like especially for us, because when they announced, I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. Blackbeard.
Oh,
Ray Stevenson.
Ray Stevenson.
Yes.
When they announced him, I thought like, because I love this guy. Like he's been parts of so many different shows that I love. So I imagined the whole room was going to go, But he came out and there wasn't a whole thing, a big reaction. But three people where we were,
Jumped up.
Immediately on Ray, we jumped up and started yelling.
I remember looking at somebody, looking at somebody behind me, and they were looking like, "What are you staring at?" I just wanted to be like, "Watch Black Sails!"
Right.
But anyway, so I was already kind of jazzed up at that moment. But then when they brought out Lars Mikkelsen, it was just such a peak moment for a celebration.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my god, that was so great! I was so happy. And then Calvin, I think you said it first, but he was like, "There's some guy put his camera right in your face," and I said, "What?"
Yeah.
He's like, "A guy was right there with a camera pointed at your face when he came out," and I'm like, "No, I'm certainly I didn't see that." And Aaron's like, "How could you not see it?
It was right there.
It's right there." And I'm like, I was too jazzed looking at Lars.
I could see it 3 seats in.
Yeah.
And then a guy came over later, and he's like, "Hey, we got a shot. We might use it. Can you sign a release or something?" Guy from Lucasfilm. I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I want to be like, professional reactor. Haha.
Yeah, right. Put Blind Wave in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then days later, it was the last day, and I didn't go to the closing ceremonies because that was our chance to go around and try to get a lot of vlog footage.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And then you
That's
went
when we
off
did a
to
lot of
finish
the,
the bounty hunter thing.
Bounty hunt.
And I was just walking around trying to get kind of like one last walkthrough of like just kind of taking it all in. And then my phone just started buzzing, like immediately.
Yeah.
Like Twitter. I was like, what's going on? At a certain point, I was like, did I tweet something? I'm getting canceled right now? What happened?
Butt dial something?
Yeah.
I pieced the wrong person.
Exactly. I know. I did something wrong. But then it turns out that they used that shot at the closing ceremonies. So it would have been fun to have been in that big room when that popped up. But so many people were like, was that Eric from Blind Wave? And Calvin, you were in that shot as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really special moment because after that, I don't know, like 20 people came up to me. It's like, I just saw you up on that screen.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's really cool. I missed it. So anyway, that was a really cool moment too.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
And they put that video up on the main Star Wars YouTube page too.
Yeah.
So even if you go to that video, like it doesn't take very long to like go in the comments and someone being like, "This one," like they have like the timestamp was like, "Is this Eric from Blind Wave?" Like confused comments. Yeah. Anyway, that was a fun moment too. But that's it for Star Wars, I think.
My trip wasn't quite as good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should talk about it here on Roll the Punches. But
Sure, I get you. Yeah. Now, Rick, you have Roll with the Punches this Saturday.
I do.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What time does that start?
Oh God, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay, yeah. But yeah, if you're interested, check out 10 a.m. Roll with the Punches on YouTube streaming. Do you have the link up already?
Yes.
All right, so it's really easy to go over there and just click the notify me if you want.
I don't know if Rick had anything else, so I was waiting to make sure.
Oh,
Sure.
Yeah. I don't think I can do it right now.
Gotcha.
As far as after Star Wars, I don't know if you haven't had any more thing with Star Wars or anything you were thinking about. No. We had reaction stuff, which we had a really cool location for doing the reaction.
Yeah.
It had a really nice window and really nice view, at least during a certain part of the day.
Yeah, it was like unusable most of the day, but then at a certain point, it was the best.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was golden.
The third to last Mandalorian video looked really good in the way it was.
Yeah.
The second to last Mandalorian video was just really, really bright in the background.
Yeah.
It was tough to kind of maneuver with.
It was tough, but it was also nice to be able to, like, it was 8 o'clock for us local time, but it was 3 a.m. back home, which
Yeah.
is when the Mandalorian drops. So it was nice to be like, it feels like, because that's another thing too. We went to the first panel, right? The big giant Lucasfilm showcase panel, and we got these wrists bands.
Yeah.
Like before we went in there, and they revealed that anybody with these wristbands can come back tonight and watch an episode of Mandalorian with thousands of people.
Yeah.
And I had as soon as that happened, I looked at the other guys. I'm like, that's gonna be so cool. I don't know if we should go.
Yeah.
And Aaron's like, I'm definitely not going.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to go. If you guys want to go, like, I'll bite the bullet. You guys have fun, and I'll at least be a reaction available for it. But
I was sitting there like, I'm already having an amazing weekend that a lot of people aren't having because they didn't have, some of the privilege of that ticket or not, So I was like, no, we won't go.
Yeah.
But it was still awesome to be able to like wake up like on the day when it released and be some of the first people in the world to watch that episode because we were awake in a different country,
So we need to move Blind Wave to England.
I don't know. That weather was rough.
No. Their food is not that great.
What?
Oh, my
that
gosh.
food in London was amazing.
I had some good meals.
All the food was
Not-
great.
Rick, I was there eating in more places for a longer period of time than you. It was...
I mean, that is true.
I tried Indian
Taste
food
change
there,
for individualists.
pizza, steak.
That's crazy.
Like, it just...
Did you have Japanese? Because the Japanese was my favorite.
I did not get Japanese.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, that one was by far my favorite.
but in most places that I went to, there was like a lack of
Did you have a meat pie?
flavor. There was one steak I had. I'm like, man, I wish I had salt and pepper to add some flavor to the steak. Like, it just wasn't. It wasn't. There was one place I ate that was really good.
Yeah.
And then that was great. But a lot of the places I ate was just kind of like, it's okay. The fish and chips were really good. But then when I wasn't as hungry and ate them, they were okay.
Yeah.
So I think I was like, they were really good when I was starving. But I ate them also like
Hey,
three or
man,
four
that
times.
first night when we had fish and chips after you guys kept trying to find a place and we
Ah.
walked for like an hour, and I was like, I was mad hungry.
I was so
And I got my food, and as soon as I bit into my food, like the power of the truck like turned off, and I didn't give a shit. Like I got my food, I don't care about anybody else. That was the best fish and chip, like one of the best meals I had in my life.
But we were also starving.
Starving. I was so hungry.
I got Afghan food when I was there.
Yeah.
That one was pretty good. But like the thing that wasn't as good for me was kind of just like typical food, just was flavored less. I feel like I don't know. It just wasn't as.
Yeah, we're a little unhealthier over here, I think.
It wasn't that. It's just no flavor. There's no unhealthiness with the idea of like salt, pepper, oregano.
Well, I mean, salt is
spices,
unhealthy.
Like it just adds some spice to it.
So
Melanie-
you're judging the entire country based off of your experience.
not the entire country, but the area we were in.
You defame the entire country's food.
Well, I don't know.
The food there was
I don't know
terrible.
about the entire country, just
Yeah.
London.
Just London. Oh,
just the
whole
entire
coun- the whole
city
city.
of London of millions of people,
But
hundreds
no,
of thousands of restaurants.
It's not the lack of diabetes. It's not the lack of sugar. I'm not talking about that. Like, it was just other stuff that was just kind of like, I was hoping this would be better. And I was like, I'm left wanting something else. So, Indian was okay.
I didn't like
We
the
had-
Indian place.
We had Indian food. I thought it was okay.
I think it was a bad
liked,
place.
I didn't get Indian.
I didn't
while
like it
was
as
there.
much as like what we have here.
When I paid the bill for that place, they were like, "Well, the receipt's gonna come in different. Just don't worry. But like the receipt came from like John's like electronic expo or something. I was like, I don't know what this place is, but all right.
Huh.
Like they had two businesses, and on the side they have an Indian place.
Sure.
They just like put it in the same account. I don't know what it was, but he was like, "Do you want print or email?" I'm like, "This email." He's like, "Okay, the email's gonna come from a strange place." I'm like, "All right."
Well, no, I figure what it is they bought a domain for an email server for one of their companies.
One place,
and they're just using that one.
Yeah. But there wasn't a whole lot of places around the convention center. Like,
Sure.
Whenever we went into the main part of London,
Yeah, you had
could
to go to
tell.
Soho.
I ordered Indian from a different place.
Yeah,
Like half an hour further away.
sure.
And I also ordered pizza from a further away place too.
Yeah.
Just to be like, let me get something from elsewhere.
Gotcha.
Not from this area. And pizza from the crust to everything was just the one I got from that because I was like, oh, it's a brick oven like
Sure.
pizza place thing. That sounds great. I didn't love that one. I didn't try every place,
Yeah.
but the ones I did try kind of had a similar consistency.
So of the Blind Wave trips, which one was your favorite culinary wise?
Of the Blind Wave trips,
Yeah.
This
like
one.
Nashville, Chicago.
I mean, I really love Chicago pizza.
Chicago had good pizza. Nashville had good chicken.
Nashville, I think, is
California had good Mexican food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and ramen.
Yeah, the ramen was pretty good there too.
I didn't enjoy the California trip as much from a culinary
Well,
standpoint. as
why?
you guys
That doesn't make any sense.
Possibly.
I don't get why. Yeah,
I was in the emergency room until 4 a.m.
That was only one of the
and
times.
then I
though.
got on a plane, just pounding nausea and anti-vomiting meds at 6 a.m.
But
you were okay,
was
right?
the food worth it?
No, it was raw. It was fucking raw.
the one thing
The butterbeer was good though.
Yeah, the butterbeer was fantastic.
The hotel we stayed in, I had dinner in that one night,
Yeah,
and the food there was great.
you like it?
Like if the fries they had would have been the fries everywhere, like the chips, like they were flavored. They were so crispy on the outside, but not like burning hot or burn up or anything either.
Sure.
Like they were just really good. The steak was really good. The fish was really good. Melanie, I was like, I wish food was this way everywhere. But
Yeah.
So she was on board with you for the food? Like,
I
you
mean-
were of a similar opinion?
I will eat most anything. She's usually fairly picky, but I feel like she was more game for the fish and chips for a longer period of time. I think it was like the last couple of times, like, man, this is not good as good as I remembered it being.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also a food truck fish and chips. But I don't know if that matters. I don't know.
I don't know if it
Sometimes food
matters
trucks have
because
some
I
of the
tell you
best
what,
stuff.
the best meal I had there was that street taco truck or
Yeah.
whatever it was. They had like a loaded nacho thing.
Yeah.
That was one of the obviously not a well-rounded meal, but in terms of like taste, might have been the best nacho thing I've ever had.
Really?
I went back 4 times.
We went to
Not in the same day.
we went to the O2, and
Yeah.
we saw the Mamma Mia.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know what to call it. We saw Mamma Mia.
Yeah, it's like a sit down and eat place,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
The food there was really
good?
good. I really enjoyed that. Excuse me. I really enjoyed that food a lot. And it was stuff that it was all Greek food.
Yeah.
Like they brought a Greek salad, a bunch of stuff I probably would have never eaten.
Yeah.
But I ate it and I was like, it's pretty good.
Good.
So that was good. I like that one too. It was just a lot of the general consensus of just places I was stopping at and going to. And maybe I went to the wrong places. I walked into a Greg's. It looked like pastry stuff I wasn't really interested in.
Greg's was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I also went later, closer to closing time. They didn't have a whole lot because we were getting ready to go see the Back to the Future musical,
Yeah.
which was really good. I
Back to the Future.
went into that being like, I'm gonna hate this or love it
Yeah.
because I really like Back to the Future,
Sure.
and it's the best stage performance I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
or could imagine. They
I
did
can
some
imagine.
They did
I
some
can imagine quite a bit.
Rick. They did stuff on this stage that I'm like, man.
Remember how much he loved Hamilton and they were just spinning that circle?
Yeah, I know.
And he was like, this is the best I've ever seen in my life.
It's just spinning the floor.
This was better. You know, like there was
You have low
crazy
standards.
stuff that they did.
No, he just has little experience.
No,
Little
'cause
experience.
That's
No, 'cause,
what
like,
I mean.
you look at a stage and there's a stage and a set
Yeah.
and they don't do anything, you know, and like that's the typical like null, right? That's,
Well,
that's neutral.
I mean,
It's
that's
just
like
a
the high
stage-
school level of.
That's neutral. A stage with a set is neutral. Then you toss in things that do stuff, right? You have the moving stages and like the rotating 2 ways and
Yeah.
stuff. This one had like visual effects that were like screens that were curtains, but you could see through them when they wanted you to, and not see through them when they didn't want you to, and like there was a DeLorean, like it felt like it came out of literally nowhere.
Yeah,
it was really cool the way they.
It sounded amazing. I definitely would have let it.
It was so fun, and it was just, and the way they did their sets too was really cool because they had like it would be half stages or half sets on the two halves of the stage, and they'd come together, but at different like it's like they had 3 or 4 sections. So like it was not really wide, but it felt deep. So they would bring in different ones, or they'd lower a curtain and do a background in a visual effect thing. But it was just done really well. I had a lot of fun watching it. I wasn't sure if I'd like the songs, but the songs gelled really well. And they had a lot of motifs that were pulling from like the initial like Back to the Future, like yeah. They had one song that just uses like that tune, and it's part of the words that is using that motif, that tune of it.
Yeah,
it was really cool. So if you haven't seen it and you live in London, I would recommend it. It's supposed to come to New York like this year, I think, supposedly. But I had a lot of fun. It was really cool.
Cool.
I think this is the first trip I've been on since COVID, and I just like it's a traveling, making the right choices, or just it's a muscle I don't normally stretch. So I think maybe for the next trip, I want to like plan out my culinary experiences a bit more versus just like what can I see?
Yeah,
that
Sure.
I want to make some better choices that way.
The issue there too is like,
well, and
I would get
with
done,
informed recommendations.
Like I would get done, and I'm like, I don't necessarily want to go really far away right now. Like I want to go back to my hotel room and
just relax,
shower and rest a minute.
Yeah.
I've been walking a lot throughout this whole time, and so. But no, I get what you mean. And also, I heard some people say like they thought the convention center is like it's a fairly nice convention center, but they were like, there's better locations as a whole.
Yeah.
That they could have had it, which I'm like, well, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know this place very well.
I mean, it seemed a little bit further away from like the city center. Like there didn't seem to be a whole lot like immediately around it.
Sure.
From that point of view, but yeah, I got to see Wicket on stage.
Wicked?
Yeah,
oh, cool.
That was a lot of fun.
At first, I thought you said Wicket, and I'm like, I believe it. There's probably an Ewok somewhere,
No, but I did actually get to meet
Warwick
Davis as well. I got an autograph from him. But no, Wicked was really cool.
Did the stage spin?
They did a bunch of stuff with the stage. Like they lowered the girl down and like had her fly around in bubbles. She was in a bubble.
Flew down in a bubble. You tell me I'm lying?
Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
No, they had like things that would like roll across the stage and change it and stuff like that.
That's really cool.
A lot of fun. The flying monkeys flew. That was crazy.
Hell yeah.
They're like swinging around like 30 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
It's great. Really enjoyed that. They bring you like ice cream and champagne to your seat.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a typical like movie theater. Like the seats are small, but like they will serve you food there.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. That was a lot of fun.
Did they, when the monkeys were flying, did you, like if I asked you like, do you know how they did it? Would you be like, yeah, I know how they did it? Or
I mean,
was it?
They were on like set of like 3 wires to where they could like control where they were in the air.
Gotcha.
And they would like fly up and like grab onto the back wall and like crawl around and stuff like that, and then they would fly off again.
That's really cool.
So it was really cool. Like it looked like they were monkeys that were flying, but I could tell that they were on wires. Just from the way they were swinging and moving and stuff.
There's one, I don't want to spoil a lot of stuff, but there's one instance of something that happens in the Back to the Future thing that Melly and I left trying to talk about how the hell did they do that?
Yeah.
Like we were not sure.
Like a magic show.
We're like, I thought it was this, but then this happened and it can't be that. It must have been this, but I don't know. Like I left there being like, I don't know how this happened.
You had that bewilderment.
Yeah. It was just one of those moments where I'm like, I don't know what
cool.
they did.
That's awesome.
And so
maybe I'll try to take Carmen to it when it's in New York this year.
Yeah. I hope they do like just as good as what's there, because like there's gonna be different stage, so different setups
actors,
and stuff. I don't know
probably.
what's the location. This was at the Adelphi, I think is what they called it.
Yeah.
And like when moving it to another set and stage and everything, I imagine some things will be changed, but I hope it's just as like cool and like bewildering
Yeah.
for like the way they do it and stuff too, because it felt like watching a sci-fi show on a stage. You know,
Cool.
we didn't have flying monkeys though.
No. I don't remember that in the trilogy anywhere.
Rick, did you see any plays? I can't remember.
No.
I know Maggie did.
Yeah, Maggie and Evie saw a few. I wish I could have gone to the play that goes wrong. That
The
one.
Goes Wrong show.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I
one
want to
really
see
fun
that. They're
watch
supposed to be
live.
doing one here locally, but I would like to see one done in like because that's like their like it's like their Broadway, right?
Yeah, the West
Yeah.
End.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish I could have. I wish I could have seen the Goes Wrong show. Sounded like a lot of fun.
They saw one of the Agatha Christie plays. I can't think of the name of it right now. And then they also saw Wicket. I think were the three that they saw.
After we finished Mandalorian and did that, Eric wanted to go to a museum.
I just wanted to do something.
I didn't know what museum we were gonna go to. I was like, "Well, where do we pick this up?" He said, "I'll just order an Uber. We'll go." I'm like, "All right." We got in there. The Uber guy was crazy driving.
I was fine in the front seat, but maybe in the back seat it was worse. 'Cause
It was
when we
pretty-
got out, you guys were pretty green.
At one point, he like floored it
Yeah.
to stop within like 2 seconds.
I did say at one point, I was like, it's like driving with Calvin.
Not that bad.
No, you're not that bad, but I don't think I really noticed it until I kind of looked back at one point, and Melanie's looked like looking at me.
We got out and she goes, "Hang on, I can't talk for a second."
Yeah.
Open
Yeah,
my mouth and
that
puke
guy.
kind of thing.
Yeah, he had places to go. As opposed to my taxi driver on the way back, he was amazing, beautiful man.
Yeah,
Great
Beautiful man.
driver, showing me all the sights. He'd like go like, let me go around the corner real quick and show you this. To be fair, that price was going up as we were taking some time, but you know what? I say it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, there's buses that do that for probably cheaper.
Yeah, probably.
But
I don't care. I
it's
had a
not
good
as-
time.
It's not as personalized,
Yeah.
I suppose.
He took me on a date. Just me. But yeah, we went to the Museum of Natural History, I think is what we went to.
Yeah.
Yep.
You told me they called it.
I went there as well with Maggie, Evie, and Carmen. That was a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time, but it was mostly I was with you two for a little bit of it, but at a certain point you guys had to take off, so I just like got to walk around at my leisure and not have to like follow or be like, "Hey, hurry up, we're moving on to the next thing." That was pretty cool. But getting in there was hell. Like I thought, someone had mentioned like, well, if you get the membership, then you can just walk right in. I was like, there's a line. We can stay in the line. It's free, And when we first got there, I was like, well, it's nice and sunny out. It'll be fine. It wasn't fine. That line was 3 hours long. About halfway through it is when it started to storm.
Yeah,
And
probably.
it stormed. It just got really
Started
cold.
raining and windy.
Really
and
windy.
Some guy's hat flew off. And
People's like umbrellas were going inside out. Like little kids were like hiding under the coats of their parents and stuff.
it was crazy because like it would start to rain. I'd see all
Yeah.
the umbrellas like
Yeah.
pop open, and they'd all be open for 3 minutes.
Yep.
And then all the umbrellas go and close back up.
Yeah.
And then within 10 minutes they go all back up again. I'm like, geez.
Yeah. But it was miserable. And we kept saying like, man, I hope they have some good shit in here.
The people behind me were like British people because I could hear their accent. And they're like, we just rushed the door. They can't stop us all at
They
once.
can't stop us all.
Those are the intrusive thoughts for a people that are convinced of queuing.
And I'm like, they're from here, and they say we should rush them. So, but yeah, we waited for a good bit there. There was some cool stuff there. The one I remember the most was going in the butthole, which, dang it, I was gonna get the video we got, and I didn't get it.
You get the video.
There was an escalator, and I'm like, what's that? And I'm like, Melanie, let's go up there and see what's up there. And we went up there, and there was like this, I don't know, it was a butthole.
It wasn't, but it looked like one.
I think it was supposed to be like the Earth,
Yeah.
and then like you're looking at the Earth from the inside, but it was all very like metal, like dark metal.
Yeah.
And it just like, Melanie, we're going into a butthole. She goes, I know, right? I'm gonna film it. She like,
So it wasn't like red and fleshy.
no, it wasn't red and fleshy.
Okay. Or
So-
pink.
It was
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And then in my head, I could hear you going like, it was like a butthole. And then like the first
And
time
then
I
the
saw you
moment
after,
was
it's like,
ruined.
did you go in the butthole?
and you said, yep. You didn't even you didn't dispute it.
I know. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
You knew.
I
Exactly
know
what
Aaron real
meant
well.
because it looked like a butthole. So it was interesting. It led you into like an area with like talking about like earthquakes and volcanoes and that kind of stuff too.
So it was like a magma tube.
Yeah, I think it was
maybe.
talking about like tectonic plates and that kind of stuff too. But like when you got
Gotcha.
inside, you were inside like a sphere.
The motion of the Earth.
I guess so. Yeah, sure. Yep. So
I did get to go to the British Museum, and like ever since I've been able to read, I've been obsessed with history, and I've read lots of history books, especially like ancient stuff, and like being there was like one of the best moments of my life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having a hard time thinking of when I've been in such awe of like seeing these things in real life that I've been looking at books forever.
Yeah.
So that was really special.
I mean, they stole some of the best stuff.
They did.
Yeah, I mean,
and that was someone I was talking to, someone who's from there, who was like, "Oh yeah, we have all the best stuff. You think we'd give it back, but nope."
yeah, a lot of citizens have an issue with their government keeping those things. Yeah, I can remember growing up, and my mom was art major, so she would have all of the books of like the art pieces, the statues and the carvings and the reliefs and everything like that. And Maggie was telling me, I was like, remember those books that we used to pore over and like, oh, look at that. And like, it was all there. I remember all of it from those books. So I'm sad I missed the art museum, but had other stuff going on, unfortunately. And also fortunately. I mean, it was the last day of the convention, I believe. So.
Sure. I did the museum. We did Mamma Mia, which Mamma Mia was really cool too. Food there was really good. The show was interesting. It's like one of those things where it's all happening around, like you're in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. Sure, they're like running between the tables.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
they're running like a restaurant or whatever, and it's kind of like inside/outside, but
you're part of the show.
Yeah, you're kind of there within it too, and like at one point, someone's trying to get service. I'm like, man, I don't have any bars. This doesn't work. Do you have your phone? And they like got him, and he's like, yeah, I have it here. And he's like, well, do you have any bars? He's like, not really. It's like, can you hold it up higher? Why don't you stand up? Yeah, hold it all the way up. Well, just let me know when you get bars. And then they left. He's just standing there holding it up.
Standing here.
And he like starts kind of like looking around. He starts dropping it, and then someone's like, hey, you. What are you doing? Put it back up there. So like there was some fun things like that they did, and there was some really cool moments. Some of the music was, I mean, the music's all from ABBA,
right?
But like they're playing it there and stuff too. There's like lights and stuff that they end up doing. Like it gets really dark and things get like very metal. Like it was crazy. Cool. Like fire was shooting out of stuff. Like nice. it was crazy cool. And then they brought down someone like on a ring, like one of those like. Remember the 501st party where they had like the Twi'leks inside the rings and stuff, like dancing? They had like one of those things. Like
501st Bash was awesome.
Yeah, like that was really cool. Like there was some really cool stuff that they did and stuff like that. But I knew how they did it all.
Yeah.
So like
still wasn't as good as Back to the Future.
That's why the Back to the Future one stands out in my mind with it. But that stuff too, like Melanie was like, let's go do this. I'm like, okay, sure. I know some ABBA songs. I know Mamma Mia, you know?
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. There was one table, Melanie's like, I think they're all Greek. Because like they were like really into stuff too, and like she was listening to their accent and stuff. And I met some guy who was talking about like different places that we should go. He's like, you should go to Greece. It's great. You know,
yeah.
like so we got to meet new people and stuff, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
but it was a fun show.
Aaron, now I really want to take you to a Penn and Teller show.
Ooh, Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller shows.
I love Penn and Teller.
Amazing.
I've watched so much of their stuff. I love when they show me what they do, and I still don't understand. Sometimes they do that. I'm like, damn.
I love when they drove that real truck over that real guy.
Yeah, right? Like, damn it. They just told me how they did it. But that was really cool. And then after that, Back to the Future, those are like our days off, kind of. And then I had Pokemon. We went to that, trying to get a feeling of what that was doing and going on with and everything. And
same convention center.
It was in the same place, just the following weekend, which is really cool.
It was really convenient.
So we did that. Melanie went to that. It was that weekend though too where we found out it got chaotic that weekend because we found out that my niece, which is Melanie's brother, their daughter, who's like was 23 months old, got hit by a truck, and like femur, I think it is, right? Let me think. Basically anything from like. Anything of your legs down was like broken, like tibias and fibias and I don't know all the things. I forget. There's a long list. I wrote up a whole list of what it was, but it was that they fractured their neck, fractured their skull. Like Melanie was like, the grandparents were watching our kids. They were trying to get up there to be there, so we were trying to find babysitter stuff to switch around and everything, and it was just it got chaotic.
So
Melanie's
terrible.
headspace wasn't there anymore too, so I'm like, well, I'm here. I need to try to make sure I film, get
Sure.
stuff the best I can. So she helped me with some of that, but she's not really in any of the videos because she was just kind of like, I'll film, but she wasn't in the right headspace with it all. So
Oh yeah, that's very understandable.
but yeah, since then, I made a GoFundMe, and I appreciate a lot of people who helped with that and shared it and everything too. I had it on my Twitter, so thank you for that. She has gotten to go home. Like, she has like hard cast on her leg. She has neck brace still and all that, but she's actually able to be home, and she's doing so much better. She's really young, so I mean they
heal
and flexible and all that kind of stuff a lot more. So
long as
but they had like neuro doctors and a speech therapist coming in trying to like deduce if there's brain damage and stuff too, which we'll know more later on. They're going to take off the cast and neck brace supposedly. At least the neck brace is supposed to come off here like next month, and then they'll see how things look from there and everything too. But it was definitely worrisome especially for Melanie, because she just got a text, and then she started talking to me about it. But she's like, it just says that she got hit by a truck. Like, it doesn't say like they got hit by a truck. And then she started like freaking out. I'm like, well, let's find out. We'll get information. And there's like that 5-hour difference, you know? So like, what time is it there? And, you know, when did you get this? We were in the convention center. Did it come through earlier? Or, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, but as far as Pokemon went, it was fun to see. Like, it was like a tournament scene more so. It wasn't like reveals or anything. So we got to see like Pokemon Unite, the trading card game. They did Pokemon Go there as well, and just it was mainly a tournament scene for that. And they had some side events, so me and Melanie participated in some things with that a little bit. But it was a pretty fun time. It wasn't like there was a few people that recognized me there, but it wasn't huge. So it wasn't like, hey, Pokemality or Blind Wave. It was just like, hey, aren't you Aaron? I'm like, oh yeah. So I met a couple people because of that, which was really cool. And then we finished up with that, flew home, and we should have a vlog done with that here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Should be done before the end of the month and everything. So.
Yeah, the Star Wars one should be done relatively soon, but you always want to give a little extra time just in case, because vlogs can vary wildly in terms of editing.
Yeah, it was the European International Championship is what it was. So, and then the next one is going to be in Columbus, which is cool. So I'll be able to go to that one here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Which is happening at the end of June. So I'm actually working on maybe trying to prepare with that, and I may do a stream or two or whatever trying in preparations and whatnot, because I might try to do VGC and maybe just see how I do in that. Probably not great, but I'll try it. I don't know. I've never competed really in that. I've done like online stuff and whatnot, but I thought about maybe seeing about people on Pokemality trying to help me make a team. Maybe I use that team in the tournament.
You're gonna net deck?
Huh?
You're gonna net deck?
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it might be fun. Or I'll do terrible, and then it'll be...
You'll do better next time.
Yeah, I'll do better next time. So if you're going to be in Columbus at the Pokemon, I think it's called the North American International Championship.
NAIC.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Somebody's put it in chat. So.
I'll be there. I think Eric might be going to that too.
Yeah, I'm going to go. It's going to be fun.
Melanie be there. So there'll be a group of us there for just checking out Pokemon.
Yeah.
Can't use my Egglock team. Not all of them are available in Scarlet Violet to use. Eric and I did just finish our Egglock, though.
It was nuts. Nuts. I don't think I've ever been more nervous for a stream that we've done before that one. Because I knew, like, I'm not going to get through this. I'm not good enough. Luckily, I was. It just, I had such easy matchups with my team compared to what Aaron had to go through. So, like, I was so nervous, but I was like, oh, no, I can do this. And I beat it. And Aaron looked at me at one point, and he's like, I'm going to lose everything.
It was stressful. Like, there's definitely, like, there's some mistakes I made. There's one especially where, like, I was, like, looking at chat, and I was just kind of, like, pushing the same button. Like, all right, hopefully this just works. And I got stuck and couldn't escape. And it took 45 minutes to an hour to beat that one Pokemon. Where I'm like, all right, Eric's still going. If I lose this Pokemon, like Eric doesn't have anyone.
Yep.
Because this is who he's using for everything. So it was tough, but it was fun, and I'm glad we finished it. Like we made it through. That was the first time me doing a Soul Link, doing an Egg Lock. It's Eric's first time in like a Nuzlocke fashion, I believe, right? Because even our past ones we've done, they've been randomized, but they haven't been like if they die, they're dead.
No, and part of my whole strategy of playing Pokemon is just don't worry about anything. If people die, well, I have 10 revives. I'll be okay. I'll power through. Can't do that with a Nuzlocke.
No.
So that's my first experience.
Yeah, no, it was tough because like I was like, oh no, I've lost this. Because Elite Four is 5 trainers back to back. There's no healing in between really or anything except for using your items and stuff.
Sure.
But there's no like, let me go up and do these, leave the gym, go back, heal, go back up to the next gym challenge, you know, take that on. It's like just fighting these tough battles. We would push through, and I was like, now I'm down 2 Pokemon. Before I got to the next one, I was like, now I'm down a 3rd Pokemon because it died on Eric's side. I'm like, this is gonna be really hard. We'll see how we do.
Yep.
So, no one sent a Bulbasaur egg. No one. Like at all, there wasn't a chance of me getting a Bulbasaur.
Not even one
in any of the eggs, really.
Well, maybe they all thought, well, someone's gonna do that. I'm gonna do something unique.
Or maybe they didn't want you to have one. Because
Maybe.
it sucks.
It could have been like everyone's like, well, everyone's gonna send Aaron
Not
a Bulbasaur.
one
I'll
Bulbasaur,
send him
but we
something
had like
different.
10 Shuckles.
Yeah,
That's the Good Samaritan paradox, right?
I suppose so, yeah. A lot of Jinx as well.
I say that now, but the next time we do any kind of like egg lock thing, it's gonna be only Bulbasaurs for me.
It's better than only Bulbasaurs, right?
Yeah.
Then you literally would have been screwed.
I don't know. Leech Seed did help me, so
It saved your ass.
it
yeah.
might have been what allowed me to make it through. So
It's the ultimate Aaron move, and it saved your ass.
I could make like a Venusaur be like a stall and another one be an attacker, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We had 18 deaths playing through it. That's not too bad.
18 deaths and 18 Jinx.
Yeah, you jinxed us so many times, Eric, that we
Guess
died
so.
every time.
Well, I would like
The
start.
Pokemon Jinx?
I would like start and end like all the streams. Like we're not gonna lose one single Pokemon this stream. And it's funny because at the end of one of the highlights, I say that, and then Pong cuts to Aaron, like looking at me, being like, "I'm losing everybody." It's really funny.
One of the crazy things too is like I had trouble with one Pokemon, especially, and then in the Elite Four towards the end, it came back, and I had to fight it again. And I'm like, no, not this guy.
Yep,
So,
it was nuts.
but yeah, if you haven't seen it, there's gonna be highlights. They're still kind of slowly coming out over on the Pokemality channel. So I know a lot of people don't have time to watch all the VODs, but the highlights at least shorten it down a bit. Anything else that's happened over
I
the
can't
last?
think of anything but Zelda.
That's all you think about Zelda?
Yep, that's all I can think about.
You came back and made a video about Zelda immediately.
Immediately.
How many hours until it releases, Eric?
Oh man. Well, it's less than 24 hours now from when I'm gonna play it. It releases tonight at midnight, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you've got like, I don't know.
Yeah, 12. I got a little bit of time. Less than 20 hours at this point.
Yeah.
But man, I cannot wait. Yeah, so many people are putting Dawn to the final day. I love that so much.
So you're playing through that soon, but I've been playing through Survivor, which has been a lot of fun.
You have, yeah.
So if you've been looking for Survivor, it's over on the Wave Squadron channel.
Yeah.
And I've been really enjoying that. It sucks having to wait in between because I just want to keep playing.
Yep.
But I've also enjoyed my time with it. So at least this way, it's kind of it's extending the time I spend with the game and the characters and everything, which is really cool.
Yep.
So good.
Unfortunately, I have to hold off on that. I had to pick one.
Had to pick one.
Yep.
You could
And
have
I figured, well, we're both mega Star Wars fans, but I think only one of us is a mega Zelda fan.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I like
wouldn't call-
Zelda.
I think you like
I
it.
will probably play it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I wouldn't say I'm a mega Zelda fan. I'm not gonna be like looking at it like I am a Star Wars, being like, oh man,
Exactly.
I think this might be from
Yep.
this Clone Wars episode.
So we'll get to it. Who knows how long it takes? Maybe it'll take a year. I don't know. It took about a year to play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, if you're going to be here tomorrow, make sure you show up and you enter the giveaway. We're going to be giving away this Nintendo Switch OLED Special Edition. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to not be right here. Twitch.tv/BlindWave. Tomorrow, we're starting at noon, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
That'd be cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to play it though. It looks all the trailer stuff that we've seen looks really good.
You didn't even see the last trailer.
I did not. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
The music in that trailer
Eric, if
was
you
so
if
good.
you
I
do
think I
that,
showed you. Right? Yeah.
He's been doing. You've done it so much like that. I'm like, I was waiting for you, like, mwah. Like, if you do that again, I swear.
Kiss.
Yeah.
There was like a Europe trailer that I didn't show you, but you might have seen anyway. Of like, it's like an older professional man, like using that as his escape.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. No, I haven't seen that.
It's nicely shot.
Okay.
I need to show that to you.
Check that out.
Someone said you can play 2 games at the same time, 2 streams a week. He will be having 2 streams a week
Of Zelda.
of Zelda.
That'll be the big difference between this year or this last
This
game
time
and this
and
one.
last time.
Yeah, so the plan right now, tomorrow I'll be playing on launch day, and then after that it'll be Tuesdays at 6, and then Saturdays at 12, twice a week. Saturdays are probably going to be at least 5-hour streams.
Which tomorrow, I believe, starts at 12 as well, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, yeah, see, I don't have
But yeah,
that-
you'll be able to check out Roll with the Punches and then go right
Yeah.
into Zelda if you
You
want.
might see a sweaty Rick walking
A
through.
sweaty Rick walking through, yeah.
Nice.
Right now, my survivors have been from 6 to about 9.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I say till 9, but it's a loose ending because I like to get to a point where I feel like here's where I can stop. Like if I'm in the middle of like a boss fight, I don't want to like stop because I've been losing and like have to come back and then like build back up that memory of like, okay, what's the timing again?
Yeah.
Because then I've had 2-3 days off.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, shoot, what does it do? How do I dodge it? What do I have to?
You know, sometimes the break, if you're hitting a wall, sometimes a 15-minute break can really help you too.
I feel like if I'm not making any progress, but so far, at least in Survivor, I feel like I'm still making progress, at least fairly consistently. Unless they have like, remember how Trilla had that one move that just like would grab you and then it's just like
Suck
you're
all
dead?
you out. And
Just sucks you
you're
dead.
Yep.
Yeah, like sometimes if a boss has one of those moves, all right, let's fight it, and they do that, and I die immediately. I'm, all right, well that one doesn't count. That one's not reducing my progress. It's just that sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you get like stuck on some kind of collision on the wall that looks smooth, but your character rolls and then stops rolling.
I did apparently make it to a location that I shouldn't have made it to yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I did that, and I found something. Oh, what's this? And I went into it, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And people in chat are like, you don't have what you need to do this yet. You shouldn't be here.
You're in the wrong place.
Oh, oops.
Man, you really Calvin that up.
I mean, I feel like I naturally made it there.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go through a wall, but
Sure.
it was funny. All right, well, I have this area opened for later, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was fun. It's been really good. I'm excited. A lot of people are really excited, wanting me to go through more of the story and stuff, which has me just more excited because that means they really want me to see something more in the story later.
Yeah.
But exploring has just been so much fun too, and seeing puzzles and seeing new things and be like, oh, whoa, this is neat. So, but I also can't say anything about it because I don't want to spoil Eric.
Can't spoil me.
So I've been
Yeah, I don't wanna get spoiled about it.
trying not
Gonna
to
be a
tell
long
him
year.
stuff about anything.
Meanwhile, Eric has been telling us everything about Zelda.
If you'll believe it, I've told you barely nothing.
No, I know. I'm sure there's way more
Yeah.
to that entire
No,
franchise.
but it's really, I just got so excited by that final trailer. I can't wait till tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
I know. Someone sent me a poncho. I'm not wearing it. I wore it
You
once.
should.
I
It's a
think.
nice poncho.
It's a
It's-
very nice.
it is
like
nice.
all ponchos, it is very nice.
It is. It actually is very comfortable and soft and stuff too. So like, I just people are like, Aaron, put on the poncho. You'll do better. I'm
You
like,
will.
No.
It's a state of mind, Aaron.
I have at least 2 ponchos that have been sent to me. I think there's a green one that's like plasticky, and then there's like the clothy green and black one.
So Aaron is streaming on Wave Squadron. You'll be streaming here at twitch.tv/blindwave.
Yes, sir.
Your highlights will be going up on Blindwave Gaming.
Mhm.
If only there was a way that Blindwave fans could get everything in one place.
Yeah, that's kind of a pipe dream.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do that.
Yeah.
Not without months and months and months of preparation or something. I don't think we can do that.
But we are doing that.
We are. What do you mean?
With a new website. Which,
Blindwave.com?
blindwave.com.
Wow.
Also
Has
blindwave.net.
Has
Yeah.
stuff.
Also, blindwavellc.com.
How many people in the chat use the blindwave.com website? Let us know. I want to see. Probably a decent
But
amount.
yeah, we have a new one coming soon, which we can show off.
We can.
Yeah,
Some
so
stuff.
many people.
It is still a work in progress, so you're not seeing the final version.
Yeah.
But you can see some stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So yeah, like everything all in one place is the plan.
It'd be nice.
Clean design. It's not just me this time. I have a whole team.
Yeah, we've got a whole team that's been
fresh
working
and so
on
clean.
for quite some time.
Yeah. So the plan is for everything in one place, and not just that, but also we're having some new features as well.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
There's going to be things like
Well,
levels.
Rick, there's a play drop down too.
Wait, where? Oh, well, yeah. Koodle's coming back.
Brutal.
Yay!
New and improved. So that should be fun. Yeah, profiles are a lot more extensive now. There's going to be levels attached to them. There's achievements that you can gain, which will give you some fun things that I'm not going to be revealing today.
Yep.
For the individual video pages, you've got the seasons and the episodes all right there, so you can skip around. You can add things to playlists. Watch later playlist. You can make your own custom playlists. You can make them public or private. You can share them. The sharing will come eventually. That might not be a launch, but
Yeah, like imagine a playlist in which, for example, all of our Arrowverse reactions are ordered in watch order that you should watch.
In chronological order.
Of the
Yeah.
Arrowverse's release.
yeah, so we'll have some like official playlists that will be featured that you can make your way through, but there will also be other ones as well.
Yeah.
And we'll have ways to reward people for making cool playlists.
Yep.
As well. So that should be fun. We're adding in a forum and some more community engagement style stuff other than just comments on the site. So that's going to be fun. And then one of the big ones that we're doing is recommendations, to where you can go through and recommend TV shows and movies to us, and that will influence what makes it onto our polls or what we watch.
Yeah.
It's in real time, so we don't have to do it once a year.
It'd be replacing the major surveys that we kind of do, so
Yeah,
that you
popularity
guys
surveys.
can just update it how you.
Update it whenever you want, and that information is always going to live. And
If you guys watch a new
collected.
show partway through the year and you want to change your list
Yeah.
of favorites, you can do that.
But it'd be one of those things where, like, if everyone has this as their first one, that's going to be towards the top of our list of being like, oh, that's what we should check out.
If you just watched a brand new show, you're like, man, I went blindwood to watch that. Throw it on your list for a couple weeks or whatever, too. You know.
Yeah. So one of the things that we always get is like, how do I recommend shows to you guys?
Yeah.
Now we will have.
This
a way.
will be the way.
Yep.
This is the way.
This is the way.
To coin a phrase that I heard a lot last month.
Yep. Done.
But yeah, no, it's been a ton of work from a ton of great people, not just myself. So we're pretty proud of it so far, and we'll hopefully launch it very soon. More info to come.
It's gonna be great, guys.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Super excited for it.
I just like the idea of being able to have just everything. located
Everything
there,
all
you know,
all together.
It's like so.
And you can
like right
regulate
now-
what you get, what you get recommended too.
Yeah.
If you're like, I'm interested in everything but Star Wars, you don't need to have Star Wars show it for you.
Sure. With the YouTube channels and stuff too, it's nice to be able to have it where it's divided for the YouTube people and stuff too.
Yeah.
But like if you're wanting to find everything Blind Wave, we should have everything there. You can get to whatever it is you're looking for and be able to even make your own playlists, be able to share that with people too. We're hoping everything will be at least fun and different.
Yeah, and there will be a launch, but you know, in this day and age, nothing is finished at launch. So there will be a roadmap of different phases for different features that will come in the future.
It was also one of the things that made us so confident in the strategy of like being able to split some of our content into its own channels. That way, that content can grow naturally in the YouTube algorithm. But if you're just interested in trying to get an all-encompassing view of what Blind Wave does, blindwave.com is the place to do that. It's so easy, all right there.
Yeah, you'll have to start downloading patches for the website.
Right now, 88% of the voters say that they do use the website from Twitch.
Awesome.
So
Well, there will be even more reasons to in the near future.
which I'm looking forward to. There's a lot of ideas and stuff that we've come up with and had where whether they're coming out at launch or coming out down the pipeline later on, I'm excited for various thoughts and ideas and whatnot for it.
Indeed.
So And the forum thing has been one of the things I've been wanting to, where like I know a lot of people want to be able to share and do things and stuff too, and it could be a fun place for people to be able to share and discuss stuff too, where it can be here is just a specific topic too. Like, I know we have our Discord and whatnot as well, but whether it's spoilers on a specific show where you can kind of talk a little bit more freely about just this one, rather than having like tagging mods and be like, can we make a thread? Can we do this? Can we do that? It also I think opens up some ideas of like sharing maybe even your own content in ways too. But of course, some of it's gonna have to be moderated and whatnot too. But having comments available and forums available and all that kind of stuff, I think will be cool to just be more involved with community stuff. And maybe if there's something really cool that we see from that, we can be like, hey, let's highlight this stuff. Yeah. So I think there's some cool ideas that we could branch off and have more of. So.
No, it's been a really fun experience over the last
year.
Feels like this year, yeah. Every once in a while, Rook will be like, all right, some work has been finished. And I'll be like, ooh, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, it looks so great. Yeah. And it's gotten better and better and better. But yeah, year, wow.
But yeah. Now that can be the place too where we can host more hint hunt things, or like Rick said, Cruddle, which I don't know, Rick, did you want to talk about the Discord announcement for Cruddle or no?
Well, we can, but the submissions are closed.
Yeah?
For now.
Gotcha, okay.
So, yeah, but I reached out on Discord asking for some help getting Cruddles, and people responded. I have enough for now.
Good. Okay.
Fantastic.
But keep your eyes open. We can maybe have that open again if we need to get more in the future. I'm glad we have enough. I didn't know we had enough.
Yeah, unless I'm like actively talking to you on Discord about it, then submissions are closed otherwise.
Gotcha.
But yes, some people are still getting them to me, but once they do, I should have enough for a while. So
it's awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone who helped with that. And yeah, it'd be fun to have Cruddle back. Hurdle just left the original Hurdle that came out.
Yeah.
Like there's Wordle's still going on, but then Hurdle came out. And Hurdle, as of like May 4th or 5th, has ended. And
they
you can
shut down?
Yeah, you can go to like their Spotify playlist and like listen to all the songs that they've had over the time that they ran. I don't know exactly how long it went for, but you can still find like Hurdle 90s and 80s, but like the initial just Hurdle has shut down.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I assume maybe it's just, one of those things of keeping up with maybe or something, or I don't know. But you can go to the Hurdle website and it's just like, sorry, it's over.
Gotcha.
Maybe it was a social experiment.
Sure. I'd say it probably ran for a year or so. Probably close to it.
Yeah, probably.
Because I don't remember when Wordle became big.
It was a little over a year ago, right? When did we start Cruddle?
It was like, how early on did you discover Hurdle, Aaron?
I don't know.
I feel like it was right about
Yeah.
during that time when Hurdle got to be big.
This says February of 2022 is when Hurdle was released, and I found it probably like, I don't know, 10 weeks after that or so. Because I remember I was like, oh man, I missed several.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but yeah, that was kind of what I was like, man, is there a way of doing like a blind wave version of this where it's like can you remember what reaction this is from if you've seen them? And because like I don't know every song that popped up on Hurdle. Sometimes like I don't know this one, and I skip it, and I don't imagine everyone knows every time we've made jokes or reacted to something, whatever. But
I mean, there were times where we intentionally tried to find really obscure ones
and trick them.
Yeah.
So, but I thought it'd be fun to be able to like, well, what's about this? And then Rick's like, all right. And then like, I feel like he spent a day.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about this concept? I was like, geez, Rick.
Right?
I thought you were working on something else.
That's fantastic.
That's when the autism comes in handy. Once I'm obsessed with something, I can do it pretty quickly.
Super Doris says March 22nd was the first Cruddle of 2022.
Of course, Dora knows that.
So it was about
of course, yeah.
About a month or so after of Hurdle coming out.
I was surprised Dora did not apply to give Cruddles.
There's our historian.
Which was very nice meeting you, Dora, and everyone on WaveCon.
Absolutely.
It was.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
And sorry to anyone who...
And I'm sorry I got you all lost. I messed with Aaron's GPS. My aura was too much.
I was
strong.
following Melanie and...
Oh, it was Melanie's GPS.
Melanie and Carmen? Is that who it was that was leading us for that one?
Carmen wasn't leading.
It was Melanie and someone. I
If it
forget
was
who
Melanie,
it was.
then I got Melanie lost every time I saw her
Yeah.
at WaveCon, or at London.
I'm endangering the mission. I shouldn't have come.
Yeah, that was a adventure.
Yep.
Of like, she took me into the convention, and then we left, and we left in a way that they would not let us back in.
Really?
So we had to walk through the grass.
It was like the VIP exit or something that was closer to the train station for some reason or something like that.
Okay.
But there was no VIP entrance.
Luckily, we met some wave riders who had seemed to have walked that path before, so we just followed them.
This is the way.
But yeah, I had an air tag on my belt loops at all times, just in case.
It's a good thing to have on you.
I had one, and Evie had one.
Yeah,
and mine was more necessary.
I had a moment flying there. We had a couple layovers, and I was with Aaron and Melanie most of the trip. But then when we were in Amsterdam, they were in a flight before mine, so I had to wait a little bit, and it was really cool. We met John Hoey in the Resistance broadcast. Star Wars Resistance broadcast crew, who were a podcast. They, John Hoey was the first person that I went against in the Schmodown. So he's the person that, the famous D in Slowden Low. So it was cool to see him, and like we saw him in New York, and then he was on our plane, and then I saw him again in Amsterdam, and he was going to be on my plane again, right? Huh. So we're just hanging out there. We're both so tired because I barely slept the night before, and I was kind of like dozing off a little bit. And my group gets called, and he's like, "All right, well, we'll see you later. We'll see you there." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I got my stuff and I left. We had to get on a bus to be bussed out to the plane.
Shuttled,
and then you would just walk up some steps, onto the plane. It's kind of cool. But when I was on the shuttle, I looked down. I didn't have one of my bags with me, and in that bag was my passport.
Oh.
And I'm in Amsterdam, and I'm on a bus. Like, you're not getting off this thing. And I was like, panic. I'm like, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? John Hoey.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I have his number? And I looked at my phone. I'm like, I don't have his number. But Melanie got his number to send him a picture that we took. So I definitely messaging Melanie. I'm like, Melanie, can you give me John Hoey's number now? Because he's gonna get on the bus and be right behind me.
Yeah.
And I think I think at this time we were still like in the air or something like that from our flight.
Yeah, you were in the air by that point. So there was nothing I could do, and I'm sitting there like, what do I do? I have to make a decision. I go to London and just don't have a passport, or I stay in Amsterdam and look for it, or it's gonna be terrible. It was the worst. That, I don't know, 5 minutes of on the bus, just kind of like resigned to my dumb fate. And then when we got off the bus and at the plane, everybody's like, all the other passengers were like happy, like, yay, getting on the plane. Because it was really cool to, like, I don't know, I've never been on like on the tarmac and walk up. That was interesting. So I went to the bus driver and I'm like, excuse me, but where we just were, could you take me there? And he said, absolutely not. I'm like, okay. Are there more people coming from there? And he goes, I think so. I'm like, can someone find a black little, it was like a little like strap bag. Like I had my actual bags, but this was like a little like, almost like a fanny pack size of a bag that you just put around your shoulder.
It was like a bandolier fanny pack.
Yeah, it was like a bandolier fanny pack. It was just meant to hold the shit that I cannot lose.
The most important things on your body.
Yeah, but like I said, I was sleeping and I had it in this chair behind me. I just got up. I was like, oh, that's my group, and I just left it.
Yeah.
But I got on the plane because the lady's like, well, you can't stand out here, the stewardess, flight attendant. So I got on the plane and she's like, well, hopefully we find it. And she like English was not her first language, and she was like happy, like, we'll find it. Maybe we'll find it. Anyway, at one point she said like they actually never find them.
Well, it was at the end of it all, right?
Yeah. You're right. So eventually the guy on the bus calls to the next bus driver. He says, all right, okay. Well, he's like, if they find it, they'll bring it. Get on the plane. I'm like, okay. If they don't find it, I have to get off the plane. Yeah. What I'm thinking. So I get on there. The lady's like, sit down. We'll find it. She gave me like water and stuff, and I'm sitting there like, what do I do? And then like a bus came, nothing. Another bus came, nothing. She's like, final bus coming. The final bus came. Everybody got on there, nothing. And then the bus driver walked up, and I see him holding my bag, and she's up there like talking. I'm just sitting like, oh my god, oh my god, I'm so bad. You know. And she walks up, and is like, here you go. She's like, this never happens. We always lose it. Some people usually just take it.
Never find it again.
That's amazing.
And I was just like, oh god. And I was like, I should not tell my wife this. She's gonna be so disappointed in me. And then I'm going, no, that's not how we operate. I tell her everything. As soon as I could, I had to, like, I was there like with Aaron. I was like, I'm gonna tell her. She's like, what?
No, don't tell her now. Wait
like,
till you
no,
get home.
I'm telling her now. Like Anakin fighting Dooku.
She'll be worried about the whole trip. You forgot it already.
I know.
From that point on,
our relationship's built on honesty.
From that point on, she was like checking all of the Apple trackers.
Yeah.
And like in my bag, in the equipment bag and stuff like that. It's like, why is he at the hotel and the bags are at the airport?
Yeah, exactly. But man, like, you know, you guys know me. Like when I'm in front of the camera, like, and I turn on, I react. But when I'm not, I tend to just be kind of like more insular and don't react much. So I think that if you looked at me in that moment, I'd be like,
yeah.
But inside, I was just like, especially when that third bus came and there was nothing. I was like, I have to get off. I don't think that, like, the bus left. Like, I have to just be like, I'm just gonna walk back.
You have to walk back to the
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It
was like a 5-minute drive too. So I was just, I don't think I've ever been like that vulnerable in a long time.
Sure.
That was extremely vulnerable.
You were Tom Hanks in Terminal.
Yeah, it was nuts.
I had a small moment like that.
Yeah.
Because after we'd had the place we filmed, but that one we got because we knew the hotel rooms we wouldn't be able to film in and stuff, and we ended up I don't know if you guys knew, but we swapped our hotel. Like, we canceled the last few days of that, and we just got one of those apartment things that were still available.
Yeah.
And it was a little cheaper than the hotel was. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, we have a little bit more room, and it's, you know, the same or cheaper. Let's do that.
Nice.
Well, when we were getting ready to move it all, I couldn't find my passport. And I'm like, I swear I put it right here. Like, it was sitting here by the TV.
Yeah.
Like, no way. Like, the maid came in and took it, right? I'm like, where could it be? I'm like, I'll find it as we pack up. And we kept packing up more, and I can't find it. I'm like, where the hell is this passport? I'm freaking out. I'm like, Melanie, I don't know where this is. I'm starting to spiral. And I think what had happened was I was like, to be safe, I will put it in this desk drawer.
Oh, no.
And it was the only thing that was in there. And I never put anything else in there, didn't do anything else with it. And I was like, I don't know where else it could be. I have no idea. There's a drawer over here on the other side of this chair, and I open it up. I'm like, oh my god, thank goodness.
Oh my god, Eric.
But
I'm such an idiot.
I started to spiral a little bit because I'm like, no, I don't know where this is. What am I gonna do? Eric's left already, I think, maybe. You know, like it was close to that time.
Yeah.
Like I think the next day you guys are gonna be leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna be stuck here. I don't know what to do.
Maggie got me a passport wallet with an AirTag in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carmen and I both got like specifically a passport wallet.
Yeah.
Like I left my normal wallet at home.
Really?
And I just put the things that I absolutely needed in that, and I carried that on my person every single day.
So I had both. I was like, I won't need this right now. I'll put it here where it will be safe. Which, I mean, it was in the drawer, safe.
Sure.
But I forgot I put it there and was freaking out that I put it in this drawer.
That was my thing, is that I knew exactly where it was. I just couldn't get there.
Yeah. Well, you knew where you last left it. Yeah. You didn't know if someone had taken it or something.
Yeah. But also, like, as bad as it was, like, I'm like, oh my god, that feeling of vulnerability and stuff. Like, Jancy had also done a lot of work in terms of, like, okay, here, like, if the worst should happen in this situation, here's what you do. Here's the papers you need. Like, I filled out, like, paperwork in case I lost my passport, and then she'd be able to take care of it. So I still felt, like, safe, I'll be fine, but I was just so disappointed in myself, you know?
It was Melanie's first time flying.
Yeah.
And she was worried about that. And first off, our first flight out of Columbus, we went to like JFK, and the landing there was so hard. And I think she was worried the whole rest of the trip about flights and stuff like that. I'm like, Melanie, it's never that hard. It's usually much softer. Yeah. Like, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
But I told her that I can't travel with her anymore because everywhere we went, someone stopped us for something. Like, we went through at Columbus.
Oh, okay.
And I went through fine.
Yep.
But you and her both got pulled aside.
Yep.
And, like, had your stuff checked, like your bags and whatnot. Whenever we were... Man, I'm trying to remember all of the instances. I know when we first landed in London, and I feel like one happened in Amsterdam somewhere too, but when we got to London, I saw people just walking through all these places. And like I went to the bathroom, and then her and I went through the same place where they went through for customs. And this guy just pulled me and her aside, started asking us all these questions about where we've been, where are we going, where are we going next, all these things like that. And like, all right, so I'm rolling you up, going through. I'm like, all right. But then whenever when we were going back home, I remember we landed in Amsterdam. They pulled us to the side and like swiped our hands and put them in a little machine and stuff and did all that and did it to our bags and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And then we went through. Before we got on the plane in Amsterdam, they did the same thing to Melanie again, took her behind a little wall, swapped her things, did all the stuff again. I'm like, she just had it done earlier. We went to JFK, and this is the one I remember the most because this one also happened to me, but I'm just like, everywhere we go, because I was like, you're here, everywhere we go, we get picked. They look at you, and they're like, hey, it's her.
Well, that happened to you as well. Like, you couldn't get into the Y.
That one time.
You just look suspicious, Aaron.
But we were going through at JFK, and my one bag got pulled off to the side. And I think what it is, it also happened when we landed in Amsterdam, I think, too. And I think anything that's card-related, just the machines don't see through it very well. So, like, I had Pokemon cards from the Pokemon event.
Oh, yeah.
Eric's stickers. He had all these stickers in his bag. I think things like that are like paper and...
Well, the reflective stickers mess with the scanning.
Pokemon cards aren't reflective typically, except for some of the holos, though.
Yeah.
But I think it's like card-based things like that. My business cards that I had with me were causing it. There's no reflective on that. So I think it's like a lot of paper stacked together.
Just a dense material that has
was causing problems with some of it. So it pulled my one bag to the side because of the business cards, I think. Well, I was standing there with only my laptop bag and my main bag, my wallet, my watch, my phone, my shoes were all with that one. And we're running late. We're trying to hurry. Our first flight was delayed. And actually, our second flight was delayed. And then our first flight was delayed. And we're like, well, that's not too bad because our second flight's already delayed, so we'll be okay. But then when we got to JFK, we were trying to hustle through there.
Yeah.
And that was the toughest airport to get through. And we're sitting there waiting. He's going through, taking his time. The people in front of us, like, we have less than 30 minutes to get to our flight. And he's, like, talking to the dude across the way. Like, they're laughing and joking. The other people are like, can you hurry this up and get through our stuff? And while I'm waiting on that, one of the workers came by and like, hey, are you Aaron? Or is this you in this video? Like, yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
That's really funny.
I'm standing there
He
with
brought the video up?
Huh?
He brought the video up?
He opened the video being like, this is you guys, right?
Yeah.
And I'm standing there with no shoes. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
On the third day of celebration when I was waiting in line by myself, I see this guy kind of like look at me side eye, and he pulls out his phone. And he goes on. I can just see it. He goes on YouTube. I see him put in blind wave. I see him go, and then he came up to me like he had to like double check. It was really funny.
But after that was done, I took a picture with him and stuff. Mm-hmm. Came back. I'm waiting. He's like, "Is this your bag?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's mine." He looks at it. He looks at what's in the thing. He looks over at me with no shoes. He goes, "Do you only have one shoe?" I was like, I came with two. Like I didn't decide to go to the airport wearing one shoe today. You
didn't
like
run out of your shoes and just leave one behind in the taxi.
I mean, maybe they see some crazy stuff. I don't know. But
I'm sure
like,
they do.
I had two shoes. He's like, oh, all right, I'll find it. I'm like, okay.
Stuck in the machine.
And then at this point, like, I'm still waiting. I'm like, Melanie, just go.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm too late, I'd rather you get on the plane, get back home to the kids,
and all the
with
stuff
the niece,
going
everything
on.
that's going on. I'll get there eventually. I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
He goes through the whole stuff and everything, gives me that back. Then he leaves, and I'm just waiting. Like, he's gonna find my shoe? Where's it at? I get my other shoe on. I'm getting all my stuff. I'm waiting.
Your shoe's being questioned, sir.
He walks back eventually, doesn't have my shoe, grabs another bag, starts working on it, and I'm like,
yeah.
Did you find my shoe? He goes, oh yeah, I put it back in the thing. It had come through. I'm like, oh, okay. So he had to scan my shoe again. So then I was waiting for that to come through again, and finally got my shoe. But like that moment there, I'm like, I hope I have a shoe to get back home. So
when I was coming back and going through New York, luckily Jake was able to pack all of our equipment into like pretty much almost all of it into a backpack. It was like playing Tetris. He really packed it in there. But what that meant is I had a very, very, very cumbersome and heavy bag that I was dealing with, including my own luggage and my one bag that I missed or whatever. When I was coming back from New York, I got into a security line. I took all my stuff, put it into boxes, and it was going up to the X-ray machine. And I was waiting with no shoes on, and then the machine just like stopped. So they made us put everything back together and go over to the other one, which was cumbersome. Did all that, got through it. I was putting my stuff back on the other side of security, my belt on. My phone was still in one of the boxes on a table in front of me. Some guy just grabs it, puts it with. He just grabbed the box. He grabbed the box, put it in the thing, it went down and slid this way. My phone in it, all in like 5 seconds. I couldn't even say anything. I just like looked up and it was just gone. And I was like, my phone was in there. He's like, oh. It wasn't like a TSA guy. He was just like another guy.
Yeah.
I guess he was just trying to do me a favor. Like, I'll get this and put it out here, and there you go. And I was like, my phone was in there. He's like, oh. And he just left. So I had to go and like, hey, because it went all the way back to the front. I had to get someone to go get it. It was like stacked under like 10 of those things. I was like, what if it's cracked or something? No.
Oh gosh.
But yeah. It was just taken from me.
Before you guys fly again, PSA pre-check is a lifesaver.
Lifesaver.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. You should definitely get that.
Does that help you with customs coming back in? Because that was the only issue I had.
It does.
The only issue I had was just waiting on the customs line. Even
there's a separate customs line.
Yeah, I was in one with the app that I went into, and it moved slow. Like we got in the first one, and I was like, "Let's do this app," and then I'm like, "Melanie, let's go back." We walked all the way back to the line, and some other guy came with us. He's like, "Yeah, you guys have the right idea. I'm going with you," and we went all the way back through, got in the line, and then where we were in the line without that almost beat us with the line that did have it. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
You steal Aaron's shoes. Rick has.
I did.
They were the Power Ranger shoes, Rick. It was one of my Power Ranger shoes. I'm like, no, I need that. So.
All right. Well, this has been our first podcast in a long time. We're close to being done, but we have one more thing to talk about.
It's almost Mother's Day.
It's almost Mother's Day.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
So make sure you wish your mothers a happy Mother's Day.
Yep. I thought you said Brother's Day.
What? There is no Brother's Day.
There's not?
Brother's
Day. There's no brothers?
No.
Oh. Is there like any bands?
You like Queen?
People are gonna know now, right?
I mean, it took me a second.
People are really. I'm dumb. People are exclaiming in the chat. They must know.
Like I know what one. It took me a bit. Yes, the replacement for Dark is Band of Brothers.
Indeed.
We've already watched a couple, and I already said at one point, I think it was like the second or the third one. I'm like, well, I just found my new favorite part of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess. But also, like...
Oh, no, I know.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a hell of an experience.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I waited to watch it with you guys.
Yeah. No, it's been
on my radar for since it came out.
It's been a show that I remember hearing about when I was like 16, and people were talking about it and being like, man, I should watch that sometime.
Yeah.
And I just never did. And then we got into doing this, and I'm like, well, I might as well wait now because I hear it's good.
Yep.
The only person who's seen that was Rick, right?
Oh yeah, many times.
So it's been fun going through and watching that. It's also not a long show.
10 episodes, I believe.
So here in like, I don't know, a month and a half.
Couple weeks, it feels like we'll be doing a whole other poll.
We'll be starting a whole new poll. So
yeah, which we like doing that type of thing, but it is tough because we try to have that 5-episode drop when it starts. So it can be a little tough. We're not going to do these short show polls all the time, but when we can, we try. We can get through some more stuff.
Thank you, Dash. Said they voted for it merely because I wanted to watch it.
Oh, that's nice.
So I appreciate it. I've been rooting for Band of Brothers for a while.
Yeah. But if you haven't seen it, this is I think a fantastic show to watch with us weekly. Trust me, there's enough content to get you through the week.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I'm excited for the next poll. See what we're gonna have on there.
I'm excited that next poll might be on the new website.
Might be on the new website. Yeah.
Might be.
Damn.
Indeed.
That's crazy. Been so long. Been anticipating this so long. That's great. All right. Well, I'm glad we were able to get a podcast in here. Hopefully, it's not as long to the next one. And I want to thank everybody for being here.
Yeah.
It's nice that even after, like a month and a half of no content on this channel, people still showed up. Mm-hmm. But there will be more content. tomorrow at 12 with Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
And a giveaway.
And a giveaway. Oh, yeah.
Giveaway again, Eric.
Yep, we're giving away this Nintendo Switch, the OLED Special Edition, and a copy of the game as well. Yeah, that's all going to be happening tomorrow. Make sure you're there at 12. Make sure you get all the details for the giveaway. But yeah, Zelda's a special series for me. You know, if you ever play that game and you're always wondering, like, okay, so Ganondorf gets the Triforce of Power and he's super sweet, and Zelda gets the Triforce of Wisdom and she's super sweet, but Link has the Triforce of Courage and he doesn't get anything special. Well, what he gets is us, the spirit of the hero. That's us. I was there when Ganondorf fell in Ocarina of Time, and I was there when Termina was attacked by the moon, and I'm going to be there for Tears of the Kingdom.
He got a cool
I
arm.
am the spirit of the champion. And we got one more adventure, Aaron.
One more? Is this the last one?
Well, it is the 20th one.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty significant.
Yeah.
But yet another adventure in the land of Hyrule tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. So make sure you guys are back for that tomorrow. Monday will be my Survivor stream at 6, and then Eric again at 6 here on Tuesday. So fun games, fun times. Another podcast next week.
Roll the punches Saturday.
Yeah. Oh,
Saturday
yes.
10.
Kabam!
I forgot about that one. Thank you, Calvin. All right. That's it. You guys have a good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Zelda.
Bye.
My back is hype.